I'm building this all from scratch as I go. Please hold. Is there a way I can turn the music down in my own ears? I guess I could turn it down here instead. Because it was loud. No, it's still kind of loud. All right. That's the wrong audio device. All right. One sec. Almost there. There we go.
Looking for a new controller? Our partners at PowerA
starting off with the ads.
And the Spectre Infinity. The remarkable Fusion Pro 2 wired controller for Xbox Series X and S is packed with pro-level features to give you peak gaming performance and comfort.
The ad reel was pretty much the same every time.
And much more. The
So
officially
I'll
licensed
skip over that a bit. Doing the ads off the top was a little peculiar, I always thought, but it made sense. Get some of those ad minutes out of the way.
Out to our partner Rushdown Revolt. The is coming August 30th. The beta will have new stages and a new stance character.
What's up, Heldu? EVO wasn't actually ad heavy, it's just that the frequency was much faster. I think having it every 30 minutes makes it a lot easier to notice, because 2018 and 2019 was pretty much the same ad frequency, or same ad volume, just at a lower frequency. Alright, so show's about to start. Trying to pump everyone up. Also a little nervous because it's EVO. Yep, gonna be talking through the EVO arena VOD from my perspective of sitting behind the switcher and calling the show. Alright, so we get started.
Everybody, all right, let's go, yeah, yeah! We are here at EVO 2022, KOF 15 top 8. Let me hear you.
That lower third probably should have been a bit later, but
all right,
it is what it is.
We're going to be walking you through KOF top 8 right now. So if you're not familiar with KOF top 8, KOF has been out since 1994. This is the first time since KOF 15 came out that the best players in the world have an opportunity to go up head-to-head. So we're going to see right now who is the best in the world in KOF 15. One more time. Are you excited? All right, hold on. But before we get to it, let's check out the KOF 15 intro video. Let's get it.
My opening wasn't bad. Just lower third was a little early, which I think I fixed up towards the end. A lot of KOF just ended up being me being like, I should change how I'm doing this. Because doing something in rehearsal and doing it with talent in real life is very different. During the intro videos was a lot busier than I could have possibly imagined, because I was just like, oh god, we have like player intros coming up after this, gotta make sure all the graphics are ready, like peeking at the bracket every 10 seconds to make sure that flags aren't wrong as much as I could. The intro videos with the custom music were very cool.
Right, let's go!
Right. So as soon as the logo hits, we have to open the mic and start rolling.
All right, let's go! Can I bring out our first player for this top 8? E.T.
Now slow getting to the walkout here, but I don't remember why. We did rehearse people going the wrong way though, which was quite helpful right here. Because I knew there was no chance we don't have players going the wrong way at the beginning.
Can we bring out ATW?
Because like instinctively as a camera operator, you're just gonna like follow your subject unless you have explicit instructions not to. That's unfortunate. Alright, that's one.
And coming out next, can we please get Z?
I thought I got out of that faster. Cool. Losing the wireless link hopefully only happens a couple of times and not, double digits or more than 5. More than 5 I think is me doing a bad job.
Up next, let's get Lassett out here.
My Tenkan player with a pillow, bars. I'm sure chat loved the no-link moments. I couldn't turn the OSD off on the receiver because otherwise I would lose all sense of what was going on. Because if someone's swapping batteries, I need to know if it's just straight up not working or they're just off.
All right, our next player coming out, Paco.
What's up, Tracy? Man, that guy just walked straight to his destination. I didn't even notice. Oh!
All right, our next player.
That's a god left hanging. That's crazy.
Come to the stage.
We did a decent amount of it. We did all the AV in the convention center, and then for this arena show, we supported a lot of the broadcast as well as doing the AV here for the arena. So part of the point of this is after most shows, I'll go sit down and watch the VOD back and be like, oh, I could do that better or that better. So since I'm doing that anyways, figure I can do it with other people too.
All right, Mandalay Bay, one more time. Round of applause for these top 8. Let's give it to them.
Monitor. It's very dark.
All right. Let's get this started. Now I'm going to toss this over to our commentator. Let's get it, boys.
I think
Guys, it is time.
at the end of that motion here on camera 6, I don't know why I didn't say it. I think it might have been because we're just about to throw, but having the same camera pan back across would have been better. I don't remember why I had them always stay at the end, though. I mean, starting a reverse pan motion is sometimes difficult on sticks, especially that far away. It was quite far away for that camera, but...
Guys, it is
I'll keep in mind for whenever a next time ends up being.
At EVO
Just so that way we're not like ending on a
How's it
2/3
going,
empty
everybody? This is
shot.
Aru. I am so excited to be here, calling this legendary top 8 with, my good friend Hell Pockets. Such an honor.
I'm telling you, man. It has
No, we
been a
didn't do the
long
advanced
weekend of KOF
flags.
action.
Yep.
Whoops.
We're back at EVO 2022,
Yep.
and it feels like we never left. I've been saying that all weekend, and I'm exhausted.
Game scene.
Oh, most if I ever saw one.
Another strong comes the first round
Now, but this is
8. And we've also got Score and Mook gonna have to face each other again in the first round.
All
of
right,
this
last
round,
match.
So it's gonna be really
Affect
exciting.
camera.
most certainly, I keep saying it right now, but this is the biggest year for KOF that I can remember probably in history. Everybody is loving the game. It's super competitive. It's super international, but that last part is not a surprise. KOF
I
has
also
a
want to
long history
adjust
here
this
at EVO
shot for
of
next
having the
time,
most
'cause
international
it
top
was-
eights that it can find. And we've got people from Taiwan.
I think it was good when there was things going on in the back, but when it was just like this generic EVO look,
Pretty much everybody in the conversation of who's who.
it's just kind of
KOF action.
empty.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's really anybody can win. I feel like for me,
Though
the
we
main
did fix it up for
storyline
later
here
in the
is
day as well.
Who can dethrone the Taiwanese overlords right now?
They're strong, bro.
They're so
They're
good.
so strong. We're looking at ZJZ. We're looking at ET, and I gotta say, I think ZJ's
Tournament, but in my heart of hearts, I would love to see Lasted go far. I mean, he plays such an interesting team, and he plays so well.
very
And he's,
entertaining.
yeah.
ET,
Yeah, no
is
problem,
a
man.
Content creator.
Yep.
We gave it for nationals, and I'm like, well,
gonna be a top. I'll go
Alright,
back and
let's-
watch. Very strong 2K2 UM.
Yeah, so it's
player.
much
That's
nicer
where
looking
I
when
know
there's
him
stuff going on in the
mostly
background.
from,
Oh, I guess I
and,
should turn up
There was
my
actually a
cursor.
side event that he
If
won
I turn it
basically
back on.
effortlessly. If you go back and watch that, the Vortex
you go.
Gallery, the VODs, you'll see how amazing this guy is. He's nasty. He's got some ridiculous execution. His Kyo is such
My
a
cursor's
problem.
still not there. All right, well,
can't wait to
whatever.
check that out. But right now, it's about 15. It's about what's about to happen on stage right now. ET 2017's KOF 14 champion versus Xiaohei.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, ET, of course. What more do you need to say about this guy? He's made EVO top 8 multiple times, even winning one of them, right? So this guy is a legend.
Oh, most certainly. I can't wait to see what he's got for Xiaohei.
Focus
we know
was
that
a
these
little
guys,
rough.
Like you said, they bash it up
Well, I think
on
it's
a
fixed.
regular. They
Yep.
were running the ICFC matches.
It's always difficult with handhelds to
Time to see how
catch
that all
focus.
shakes out.
Yeah, man. I am so excited, dude, because again, I feel like ET, until yesterday, I felt like he was almost untouchable, right? But yesterday we saw him
He
bleed.
had some moments where he was.
Yo,
cracking
Jeff
out.
coming in with
Saw him
the
bleed,
water
yeah.
bottle label
Most
assist. I didn't
notably,
even
Sage
notice
FX
that.
took a game off of him in the first game,
Oh baby.
and dude, he was sweating after that match. So
He's a human being, man. As long as I've known ET, he definitely has those opponents that can make him fall apart visibly. But the thing that makes him a champion is that he recovers so nicely, almost instantly. It's almost like you can't break him because he's too busy breaking himself just so he can build himself back up in real time.
that's true. Yeah, I mean, you can see it. He's one of those players that wears kind of his heart on his sleeve. So I suspect after this match, it's probably going to take a lot out of him, and the camera shot for him is going to show him just being like, "Yo, I can't believe what," But yeah.
All right, stick issues.
So I feel like we're probably going to see a lot of the safe.
So
picks,
since we like
character
started
wise
off
from everybody,
and we had a
all
few
picked,
issues,
a lot of
tried
similar characters to get,
to
up this far.
avoid looking at the stick
Most
issues.
notably,
That's
if you guys haven't been keeping up with KOF 15, characters that you're going to see pretty common.
kind of a
commonly,
basic rule that I
are
follow
Kula,
of just like if there's
and
problems,
Ronan.
let's not
Yeah,
look at
those
it.
are-
Let's
oh,
look
and
at
B-
anything
BJJ,
else.
right?
BJJ definitely
Um,
in the conversation
Very strong.
for quite a while now. We're going to see, actually not going to see a lot of Gato.
So we end
right?
up coming back
Isn't
to
that crazy?
commentators
Look at us now.
because
A month or two,
this
3
could take a
months ago,
while.
Gato is everywhere.
Yeah.
Now we've maybe got like maybe 1-2 Gatos in the top 8. Meanwhile, Kula Army returns to KOF
Like that rounder, because we'll probably see
because her day will be.
that I think a ridiculous reward, and not just that, but he can play neutral really well. So he's just kind of the full package currently.
Oh yeah,
But-
he's a little bit of all-rounder, But I also
Right,
feel like
so
he
we
has
come
so
on
much
back.
power that sometimes it gets away from the users.
But actually, I don't know if you caught this, but we're not seeing either of those characters right now. I'm not sure if this is real or if this is a button. Oh, you know what? This is probably a button check.
This
'cause
has got to be a button
yeah,
check.
that was Team Japan, man.
I'm like looking at the Elizabeth up front. I'm like, I haven't seen that since week 1.
Right, yeah. I mean, a little bit of a mix-up there for us.
Button
but
checks also are
regardless,
kind of
we're
like
going into this
stick
very
issues where
nice
it's I
thing.
don't want to show it
But yeah,
because
you
it's
see-
just
you see it
confusing to a
there on the
viewer to be
picture.
like,
I
oh,
don't know
there's
if you can see
gameplay
the
going
shot,
on.
but,
What's
ET,
happening here?
has that Kula.
But also
Representative,
to
but we see on Xiaohei's
since
side,
they picked
Kelsey Tsunami,
characters that they
who
don't
I
actually
gotta say,
use, I tried
you
to
see
show the
Xiaohei's Kyo
back LED
hit
wall
work,
to be
you're
like,
gonna have
look,
to hold on
these
to
are
your seat
different than what
Dude,
they
this
picked
guy
to show it's a button
this
check.
guy- I won't say say he's crazy.
And also, it's cool
but
to just
it's a
like
sight to
see their
behold.
hands going
Yeah,
on
I
their
mean, the
sticks.
guy, I feel like he has a very technical Kyo. He's labbed a lot of setups. He's got some nice combos with Kyo. So you'll see him do a damage very effectively once he gets those hits. And boy, is he going to get them, because that character is just a monster.
And let's just hope he doesn't have to take some of those wild swings like he had to do against Mad KOF yesterday.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, right?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully these guys, are calm. They're playing, their best. But obviously, this is the EVO stage.
Gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. All right, it looks like the players are picking their characters now.
Oh, he had a
I think
Taiwanese
he's gonna
flag
be
on
the only
his
Benny Morrow we
stick.
see today.
That's
I
cool.
think so. But Benny Morrow is, of course, another
I
really
didn't
strong
notice.
character in this patch. So it's no surprise to see him being pulled out here.
All right, then. It looks like we're almost ready to go. They got the orders selected. I'm
Dapping
ready
each
to
other
go.
up. Yeah, man,
I'm ready
dude,
to go.
I've been ready. I've been up so long, just studying these matches that these players played to get up here. And boy, they were so
This
good.
was
If you
a
guys missed out,
long
be sure
intro
to watch
segment.
the archives.
I mean,
It
there
was
was a
great.
button check right after issues, but
Look at that, man. Look, they're itchy. They're itching, bro. Load up the match already.
it does
Seriously,
create
I'm-
suspense,
I'm
I
on
guess,
my
but
seat.
not.
Oh shoot, here we
There
go.
we go, guys.
Whoop. Whoopsies.
Evolution 2022.
There was probably something better
This
that I
is
could
the
have done
top
there.
8 for KOF 15. Who's excited, man?
Oh, I'm so excited right now, but at the same time, we all got to keep it cool because this is for all the marbles right here.
Absolutely. Now we've got Benny Mar. Oh, wow. Gets thrown out of his pressure, unfortunately. Wow, just challenges immediately.
Okay.
All right. So since
Challenging everything, and
the,
we got a
the
stun.
gameplay's
We got a
important,
stun.
but
That
there's
was
not
crazy. ET is kind
that
of playing
much
a little too
for
aggro
me to
right now.
do.
Xiaohei is really making him work with
At the
those
beginning here,
down B,
though,
mashes.
That was almost effortless for
I normally
full
play
health
KOF on
Benny Morrow
PC,
into the second
so I
inning.
forgot how
Alright,
long the
Vision
load
A.
times
Oh,
are,
no. Yeah, that was
which
a
is why
missed
I
hit
just
there.
let it dip
That
to
was
black
not
there.
good.
Bro,
Um,
set ET.
But I very quickly
Oh,
realized that I
there's
need to
there,
start
like
figuring
Xiaohei
something out
or
for
Xiaohei
between
rather, once
characters.
Doesn't matter. Finds the hit anyway.
Again, Aru.
And I
Xiaohei is
think
saying you are not blocking.
I was pretty quick
Yeah,
on it,
exactly.
but we'll
Give
see.
me-
Let's see.
give
All
me
right, so
something to
character's
fight
dead. All right,
against.
yeah.
Dude,
So
ET keeps
um,
running forward on
showing
Xiaohei's disadvantage.
anything other than
Xiaohei,
black
he doesn't
is
care. He just mashes,
better
he finds the hits.
than
ET
showing
is-
the black
I don't
there.
know, man.
So
I feel like he's kind of struggling right now.
I think if he's going to make an adjustment, it has to happen.
I started
in this
dipping
match
out.
Right here because he cannot
And it was,
afford to lose the Bijanet this early.
it was cool
Nice, there
that
we go.
There we go.
KOF,
Yeah, so
because
I feel
the
like the thing
time
is,
takes a
ET
while, I can
needs
actually
to
like
overextend
come
things.
out and get
He
a
has to jump in, and
full
this is actually gonna be
beat
enough.
from a
That's
player's
just what I was
camera.
talking about. He had to do it then. He did not want
See,
to
like I can get
to
like
go
the
up against
full
the
head
lane.
nod there.
Yeah, that
He's
was
like
kind of
looking
an
around. I
interesting
can
thing.
even
I
go
feel
look
like
at the other
Xiaohei
player.
might
It's
have
like
woke up pressing
nice
LB again because
to
he's so
actually
used to doing that, and ET kind of
work
wisely,
around.
opting to use an option that beats it.
ET using that fiber optic download in the middle of the match. You love to see it.
Very nice conditioning, and we've got corner pred out of here. Oh no, this is not a good way to make this round start.
Yeah, well, I'm glad
He's gonna oh my God, he almost had
glad
it.
I
He
helped
didn't
you
confirm it,
start
but
thinking
at the
about it.
same time, the kill on life support.
Again, this
That
is
kill now.
from
I
the
think
broadcast
this is
director's
Xiaohei's
perspective.
best
I'm not
character, so any
really
character can make
going
it
into
happen.
this
one,
like
but look who it is. It's Cronin.
trying
That's right. You swing at
to.
Cronin, if he's ready, he's going to make it hurt. 30%,
Nice.
40%, 50% damage with 3 bars.
What's the best
Oh
way of
my
putting it?
God, he just went for it.
This is me looking at things that I can prove himself, and also like providing some thoughts on like how I actually ended up to the decisions I did, whether good or bad. And there were a few bad decisions that I made. Well, bad, like mediocre decisions.
Oh my gosh,
That
yes, just barely
now I
missed.
know
Almost
not to do.
I know, seriously. I was
Um,
holding my breath. Xiaohei taking it. That was looking kind of rough for him. After that Bijanet started
I think
going,
one of
Xiaohei
the
looked like he was on
bigger,
the back foot a little bit, but once that kill came in, it was all curtains.
or one of the potential mistakes that I had made, but
I did
didn't
see this
like
happen
worked
to
out to be okay, was that I was actually using the cameras a lot right off the top of the beginning of KOF. And that's because I have the philosophy of wanting to start strong and end strong. But for the show like this, I think I should have given them more of a break at the beginning rather than pushing so hard off of the top of the show, just because of the fact that it was going to be a long day. You know, camera ops do get tired, so it's important to like give them breaks. In fact, later in the day, I end up having to tell some of the camera ops to just like stop doing stuff because like I didn't want to destroy them.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that Kula was causing him so many problems.
I was a little slow on that one.
Xiaohei looking good.
I wonder if I was like
taking
a sip of water or something at the same time.
But
But yeah, you know, I think also too I like realized I was using the operated cameras a bit too much pretty quickly, as I eventually started using just the like specific player 1, player 2 camera, or the sliding doors, as I call them, or the head-to-head, as it's also colloquially known as.
Another goes for the overhead, but that was actually a little bit too high. And now he
should be enough.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yo, Xiaohei on match point now.
Match point against the EVO 2017 champion ET, possibly going into losers, and at the same time, it's not the first time that's happened.
That's true, yeah. And this guy.
Oh yeah, it's best of 3.
Doesn't necessarily mean the end for him.
Right.
Man, the switches between best of 3 and best of 5 always like screw me up so much that on comms I would be saying like, "Oh, this is a best of 3, everybody. Remember." It's because I'm telling myself that. I'm not reminding everyone else. I'm reminding me because I'm the one who forgot.
I don't know, man. It's reminding me of another Shao somebody, you know?
So I guess at the beginning of KOF we like knew it was gonna be best of 3, but like towards the end of the day it was all best of 5, so it was a little confusing. Cronin DP into agreeable head nod.
Yeah,
10
totally.
a.m. fighting for your life. Jump CD, but the jump CD is going to kill.
Another pressure sequence, and we're seeing a lot of patient defense from Xiaohei, but now he's in the corner.
You believe it.
That was.
DP goes for the activation.
Oh, he finds
So one of the biggest things that I find difficult about fighting games is that in most other esports, you can rely on the game ending screen to know when you're actually done. But in fighting games, because the game can actually be over before the game says it is, players often react earlier. So trying to wait for a hit confirm there on the super is when I need to be getting out of game, because I know that's when the players are actually over, because that's when the game is over. It's not when it says KO, it's not when it goes to the winner screen, and that's why I like cut out instead of trying to dissolve or affect, because I was already a little late by, you know, a second. And you can see that, like, we hadn't even seen KO on screen, but the players are already going. I think it's difficult as a viewer sometimes to realize that that's what's going on, which is why years ago I started introducing like a lot of these like graphics that like say the game is over and what actually happened, because like if you're if you're untrained and you watch this, where this could be it, you can hear the commentators say it's over, but you don't actually see that it's over. And it's important that visuals match the audio as much as possible, just because otherwise, yeah, it's just jarring experience for a viewer, especially if someone's like a bit harder of vision. Then that's where it's even more important. Or if they're hard of hearing, same thing. Like you want to be making sure you're putting on a show that everyone can understand. Though this time I actually doubled up here because it was the very first match where I put the lower third in as well as looking at the LED wall graphic, and I think I very quickly realized like, okay, let's not do that, because it's a little redundant, and also by the time I've shown one or the other, I'm already like out of time. The players have walked off. It's time to move on with it. All right, so we got the next game starting up.
Always thinking like, well, where do I fit into all this, right?
Yes.
How do I get around this? Because maybe I don't want to play the top tiers. Maybe I'm liking somebody else, and he's always found a way.
And getting to see this little, seeing the graphics on the LED wall here, same thing again. Like I want to be establishing what's going on, showing this is actually what you're going to be watching. I think I relied a bit too much on that. There's other ways of going about it, but using that versus graphic is the easiest one. And also too, it tells the people in the arena like, hey, the match is actually starting soon. Get ready.
So exciting is because if he does find that hit, he can melt you.
But there was definitely a lot of times where I was kind of like jumping the gun a little bit, being like, all right, the players are on stage, let's go. But like if they do a button check or something's not ready, you know, like if they just get up, I think I was itching a little bit too much. And I don't know if that was like nervousness on my part or excitement or both or just like impatience. but that is
Hey,
something
but,
I tried to work
enough about
on
Lancet, though.
as the
We've
day
got
went on.
another legend coming up to play against him, right?
I don't like to talk too much about ZJZ because I feel like I say mean things sometimes. But I gotta be for real, man. I love the kid. I love ZJZ, but the man is easily the most unfun person to play in KOF.
Sure. I mean, I watch how he plays. He stifles you. He's like a wet blanket. He plays every spacing so well. I feel like world class. He plays every spacing, and he knows exactly what to do to stop your offense.
Exactly, and I'm like, you want to tell this guy, hey, take a break. Let's play some casuals, and he plays casuals the exact same
Only
way.
because of the orange like frame
Ago,
on the sides.
This is definitely the kind of guy who, if you ask to play casuals with, maybe even train you up, he's just gonna beat the crap out of you because he can't turn it off. He doesn't know how to turn it off, and that's brilliant.
Absolutely. You better not turn it off here because Lancet is going to be challenging him.
What's up, whoever's behind the Glass Cactus account? Which one of the four of you it could be?
Nice.
True. All right, it's Kai. All right.
Kula versus Maytang now. Kula does have a fireball
So
game.
this is something that I think a lot of people might recognize if they watch other esports shows. The basic, like, you push into a view of the game, usually nice and big, so that you have lots of room to play with, and then you do a long dissolve into your game feed in your switcher. The reason that you do this is because you run out of things to do. Especially when the game is loading and taking that long. It's like it's a nice establishing intro of you are moving from one segment to another, but also again, KOF takes a while to load, so like the players eventually they just stop. They just sit there, stare at the screen. They're not moving their hands, they're not moving their necks, nothing. Like they're just cold stone killers waiting for the game to actually start. So at that point, I might as well like show some of the stage that we have, show the graphics, and in doing so, I can also show the gameplay. Generally, especially with fighting games, you want to just show the players, because nothing actually matters outside of that. It is the two players on stage, everything else is a plus. But yeah, eventually they're going to do nothing, and doing nothing isn't necessarily bad, but especially when you're this early into the morning, and we had a lot of slow-moving shots, then I want to get away from that and try and get into, like, all right, we're going into game now.
Anyone's game still.
And that's a mostly subjective thing. Again, like, doing nothing isn't bad. Silence also isn't bad. But there are times where I want to, you know, get a move on, as it were.
One of the buffs that Kula got, the fact that she can, just eat out Kula to get lasted. Jeremy doing a short hop and then hopping over somebody and crossing up with that jump C. Very, very strong option from Jeremy.
So between rounds here, because Lassid's sitting farther away from the camera, we like inadvertently have to get
very, very strong option from Jeremy. Oh my God.
ZJZ. Okay, God, sorry. In the shot, so because of that, I just kind of sit on the one shot because you can see both of them, so I don't need to take the other camera at the same time because like he's right there.
Oh my God. Game. You cannot just randomly approach him.
All right, game over. Cronin DP again.
Approach, otherwise you're gonna take that EXDP and take a lot of damage.
Every time, man, and he thought like
Shatter strike, it's gonna happen.
Here, a couple DPs here before. Lassid has literally been here before. This man put him through such the ringer the last time they met.
That's true, man. ZJZ, this guy, he is definitely one of the top.
So this is another example of where.
To go back to order select.
Okay, so that shot in particular was two things. One was the game had ended and I didn't really show it on screen. So like it like fades to white, but I come out. So if you're paying attention, you get it. It's over. But you know, again, we have this big cool screen. Might as well show it. And also, someone picks order selection, so it's cool to be able to see that as well. But also, I was buying time for my handheld camera to get up because I was a little late in asking them to stand up. so it's an easy way of getting out of it. Get to see the order pop up on screen again here. I don't like showing the game feed like in program because when you're in an arena like this, everything is big and beautiful. There's no reason to use like a 2-box or something for something like that. When I can point a camera at it and shoot it, it like provides much more context because you can see things going on at the same time.
On you without earning it, then you have already lost, my friend.
Exactly. No, ZJZ will never got to make this count.
Wow.
Yeah.
ZJZ's. Oh, there it is. He
All
tried
right.
his luck a little bit too much.
ZJZ ends. So a lot of these like between rounds, I like, you know, I got into a groove. It was hit confirm, go to winning player camera. If the load is long or the other player is doing something as well, go to the other player's camera. You know, it becomes pretty formulaic for these between rounds. And again, this is literally just so I don't have to see the loading screen, because the loading screen's pure black. And I didn't have an easy way of clearing the scoreboard, so I figured I'd do that instead.
Uh-oh. That was supposed to I am sure of it.
That's crazy. One more touch. That's going to be a dead Cronin, and we scored.
Oh, nice. Lacid popped off. That was cool. I'm glad I got that one.
Lacid. I am pulling for you, my man.
And this is what I'm talking about. Lacid makes these characters work. Not that they're bad, but they're not in the conversation for top 3 in the game.
Absolutely.
He's still going to pick people apart.
Also, if during any of this, anyone watching has any questions, feel free to type in chat. I'll do my best to answer them in a timely manner.
Now gets the hard knockdown. ZJZ going to run some offense here.
All that means
the re-jump. Oh my goodness. You see how both these players
Janet's actually such a crazy character.
You know, both these characters
I was late on that one.
Potent
Oh
corner
well.
pressure.
Can't win them all.
And Bijanet, probably the best corner pressure in the game, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's really strong for sure. Ash, though, Ash Crimson, I want to see some...
I also, and I'll talk about this more later, but I didn't rely on audio cues as much as I wanted to in KOF, because a lot of the time when I'm directing fighting game streams, I'm listening to the game, I'm not actually watching the game, because in other fighting games, there's like a slightly, it sounds different when the round is actually over. Like the hit confirm or whatever, it's like louder or something, or like there's something going on with it that like makes me know that the round's over. And it's easier usually to process audio than it is to process video. So because of that, I was, oh, my bad. I was trying to listen to the game rather than watching it most of the time.
Second game against ZJZ in an electrifying fashion.
So let's talk about this crowd shot. In a sec here, as soon as I can pull it up. I skipped it. All right, so this crowd shot is pretty tight. One, we should have added motion to it, but that gets fixed very quickly for most of these. But two, the reason it's so tight is to try and make it look more full. Like if you notice, there's like 1 or 2 maybe empty spots, even though it's like pretty empty in the arena. You never want to take a crowd shot where it looks empty. And obviously, like, behind the players, it looks pretty empty, but, like, that's okay, because that's not the focus. When the focus is solely the crowd, having anything be tight and, like, precise on a subject makes it look fuller.
I got caught. I don't think he has to do anything. I think he was fine. He just got caught by the Venus flytrap. It's one touch and you're done with Ash Crimson.
It looks like he's trying to decide whether he wants to run. Yeah, okay, so he switches Cronin to the final slot rather than Bijanet.
I like that. More optimal, in my opinion.
Sure, yeah. But
wait, is your name Janae? I thought it was B. Janet. Because she's British, but alright, whatever.
Definitely 2 guys in each other's heads at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah, get thumbs up, come out to reveal both players. I try really hard to not ever go into game with just one player unless something super crazy just happened or like they're in a very pensive moment. Because the game is never about one person, it's about 2 people playing against each other.
Dude, look at the way that he spaces himself with
And
Lula
by
once
going
he
into game, I mean
corner,
like at the
that
beginning of a match.
spacing has been
Obviously,
debated by
between
experts.
rounds, I'm going to
Okay,
be, focusing on one player because I don't
corner,
necessarily have enough time
wow,
to get through.
Lasted not
Um,
looking so good.
Fun for so many ranges.
Into the corner again.
Well, he's still got an opportunity to make this happen, but at the same time, he has to play this perfectly.
Exactly. No.
Let's see.
That's it.
That lasted. Good sportsmanship between these two players.
Excellent play from ZJZ. Exactly what I would expect from the master.
Yeah.
And lastly, we'll see more of him in the loser side, but wow, what a match that was.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see lasted some more games from him. And luckily, that's not the last we've seen of him.
Oh, baby, man.
So hard
That's
when
already out
these
the window.
matches. Yeah, these matches have been so good. It's really hard to contain any excitement, dude.
So the player
we've
walkout
been telling each
here,
other, ever since backstage, we gotta pace ourselves. But
pretty
it's
much
so
just
hard
following them
when
as
these
far as we
matches,
can,
these
but then
matches
we
have been
actually
so
hit the
good, it's
truss
really
on
hard
the
to contain
side.
any excitement, you know what I mean?
It's
So
already out the
I
window,
just
tell you guys.
try to
This
build
is
to
what- this
commentators
is
as fast as
EVO,
possible,
KOF top
which
eight.
is kind of
Every time
expected.
it's
Like whenever the
it's
players
a
walk off, I
punch.
just
I
gotta
can
like
attest to it.
know
I've
what
been
I'm
all
doing
over
next
it,
in
and I've
advance, or
never
else
once been
you're
able to
just gonna
hold it all
sit
in.
with nothing because the players
Yeah, I
walked
mean,
off.
A dedicated
All right,
We'll
so
go
we're gonna
100%
go to a
till
break
Oh,
here.
man, but right now we're going to go 100% into these ads. Please, everybody, stick around. You don't want to miss what's coming up next. We'll see you in a little bit.
The EVO team would like to give a big game community's big.
So ads are ads, nothing special. I'm just sitting on a single channel of tape, for 4 minutes or whatever it was.
Thank you to Hori
And I
for
know to the viewer,
EVO.
ads are
They've been
really
our
annoying,
support
but
for
to me
countless
it was
years.
really
Fights
helpful
taking
because
total products for
I could
fighting
actually like
games.
take a minute to breathe. A lot of the times, it just goes so fast when you go to a break, especially on a fighting game show, because everyone's like, get in the game, get in the game, get in the game. And like the pacing of a fighting game show is so quick that it's just difficult for like the production crew to take a break or to breathe, get up, go to the washroom, whatever. Most fighting game shows that I've worked, I like sprint to the washroom and back just because of the fact that like I don't have time to do anything else. It was also funny seeing the blast from the past. Do you have much buffer? No, everything for us is completely live. If I miss the pop-off, I've missed the pop-off. The only potential that I have to fix that is that I can potentially get it back on replay and like try and show it afterwards as part of a replay reel with the player react. But like if I'm late, I'm late. Like that's just how it goes. Same thing with players walking off. Like that's just what it is. And it's the same way that it works in live sports. It's just that in live sports you have a lot less variance as to what can happen depending on what sport it is, of course, because most of those sports kind of react the same way. Like you're following a much simpler target of puck, ball, whatever, rock, etc. And all of the focus is on that. Like people don't normally pop off when the skip throws the rock in curling, and it's only halfway down the button. It's not done yet. Like the play has not ended. But in fighting games, plays can end pretty early, or rather, plays can end before the target has reached its destination. Like I was mentioning, where like on hit confirm for a super, that's when the play's over, even though it's not actually over. So that's when it's time to go.
But he's a strong player. Paco, he from Mazatlan, Sinaloa.
So in this instance, we had two folks, both from Mexico. So because of this, I like knew that they were going to be super friendly, or at least that was my assumption, and it played out. I didn't even remember that we found a dude with the Mexican flag. I forgot about that. But it was.
We're gonna see what he has to offer Sasa Mex,
It was like, nice to have folks both from the same country. They're playing along. I remember Cal Cal being our audio engineer, made a comment because we have these little like player mics on the stage that like basically have a small pickup range. You can kind of see it. It's right by the mix amp there. That it like picks up the players, and they made a he made a comment being like, "Oh wow, these player mics are really cool because you know they're both from the same country, they're both big friends with each other, so they were just chatting it up." Yeah, I think with esports, one of the biggest things that is difficult is that you have to like know what is happening in the game. And to be fair, it's the same thing in live sports, where like if you're doing hockey or basketball, you should know what's going on in that game if you're going to be working on a show for it. It's just easier because you learn those in like second grade gym class, whereas fighting games or StarCraft or League of Legends or whatever, not so much. So you kind of have to make sure that you can take that time to actually study it. And that's something that I try to do as much as I can. Whenever I'm working with games that I like don't really know or I'm not super confident in. The first time I worked a Call of Duty show, I tried to spend a lot of hours just like watching VODs or playing it myself. Yeah, sports also don't change, whereas in this arena show alone, I did 4 different games. When you're doing live sports, you're like doing golf for 8 hours, and that's it. You're doing a hockey game for 4 hours, and that's it. I'm not switching between games a whole lot, and like even the fact that we go from a 3v3 game to a 1v1 3D game to a 1v1 2D game to an air dasher, like there are a bunch of little things that change quite often, and especially the way that the games handle cinematics going out ends up being a pretty big change between games. So it's important, I find, or I think, and I hope people that watch agree, but like that you try to understand what's going on in the game, and even trying to study up the players a little bit, I think helps a lot too. When I did our LCS Winter Major, for example, I did the B stream there. Like I tried to study up on the 3 or on the Japanese team because because I knew that they were an underdog. I wanted to know what their story was, so that way I can help bring that out a bit better. For EVO Sunday, I couldn't like study up the players too much. I knew a bunch of them already just from like watching and being a part of the community, but there's a lot where I want to make sure I understand who the subjects are that I'm working with, because how I tell their story coming through the EVO bracket depends on who they are as a person. If they're a very electric, over-the-top person, then it's easier for me to play with. But if they're a quiet, reserved person, then I need to make sure that I'm spending the time on camera with them to help paint that picture of, you know, they're a quiet, reserved person, but they just beat #1 in the world or whatever. Or, again, if they're like from the same country, to work through that and be like, look, these are 2 guys that are brothers, sisters, whatever, from country, and they're having to fight each other so that they can best represent their own country. And I'll talk about that more when we get to Tekken. I'm probably going to start skipping bits and pieces of this just because, again, it gets very repetitive. It's like match, go to break, match, go to break, or match, go to break, match, go to break. Let's see.
Welcome back to Las Vegas. This year at EVO, we are collaborating with the
So this was a sponsored ad read, and I'm glad that I was switching in OBS. I mean, I guess on a regular searcher, this specific instance wouldn't have been that bad, but the little Sony bug in the bottom right, I didn't realize we needed over the video pieces as well. Luckily, once I built it, like, it was, you know, a couple of seconds to add in.
Including their latest broadcast camera, the HDCF 5500. The HDCF 5500 offers a rich picture quality in any environment. Whether you're in arena or getting bodied online, Sony helps you capture the moment.
And we didn't get to rehearse that bit either, but it worked out.
Top 8 action here from Las Vegas, EVO 2022, guys. It has been quite a morning.
And
It really has.
so
I mean,
that
we're
camera,
we're almost done with
Top 8 action.
this one here is like on the very opposite end of the bowl. So you never want to do like swift motions with it because it's going to be way too jarring because you're covering such a large physical distance that you're just traversing it so quickly since you have such a good viewing angle from back there.
Of top 8, and boy, I'm already feeling it. these matches have been so incredible.
Sweet.
Yep. And like you said, nobody was really able.
A top 48 picture. I didn't see him lose on stream.
All right. Well, either way, must have been a
What's up,
ferocious competitor
John?
to be able to put Moke into losers. Because,
It's me. I'm the
Moke was
streamer.
obviously
It's
one of my
true.
picks to
I'm
be,
never the
no
streamer.
surprise to see him here. Same as Score too, though. I mean, Score, one of the most threatening players in Japan, making him one of the strongest players.
Yeah, brackets, whatever.
No, seriously. But you know.
Ooh.
Like you mentioned, he's got that Kukri
Whoops.
up front. Kukri is he's obviously the only Kukri player in this top 8, and there's a reason for that. He's a very specialist character, right?
Oh, most certainly.
So most players are not able to pilot Kukri the way that this guy Moke can, and you're going to see a lot of interesting movement and decision making from Moke. One thing I like to point out about him is that the way he likes to zone a lot.
I appreciate that, Bram.
At first, and then once he has you right at the spacing where he wants you, maybe your back is to the corner, he can start to go in and mix you up using a lot of Kukri's very complicated mix-up options. Then once
All right, so dudes in the hood. There is a couple of things when people are wearing hoods, hats, glasses, whatever, and it's kind of hard to see their face. So it's twofold here. I generally had asked our camera ops to shoot like physically low angled up because of the fact that that's like when you do that, things look more grand. Like even if you're looking at it here, like they are above us. It's the EVO top 8. They're incredible players. So we do that, but then also too, it makes it easier to see under people's hoods that way, so we can get a little bit more of their face. But I didn't realize that they were going to take off their hoods. As soon as we were getting into the game, I thought they were going to play with it on.
Absolutely.
Full focus. You see him taking a drink of water.
The young guy, man.
Yeah.
You got to stay hydrated, especially out here in Vegas.
This match is going to keep us awake for sure, so we don't need to worry about any of that. And it looks like, so we can tell that they've picked their characters. I think they're going to go right into it as soon as they finish finalizing their.
Trying to catch the handshake or like the fist bump or whatever at the beginning of the game is honestly really hard.
Side, usually running the Yashiro up front. No, I think
but
pick him, Yashiro up front.
Yeah, but interesting.
I try my best to get it.
Chizuru anchor quite a bit, but this time he's actually got Chizuru in the secondary position.
Interesting decision, but I imagine he's comfortable with both.
Yeah, and I suspect that the reason he's changing up the order like that is because he's familiar, very familiar, I would even say, with how Amaterasu's Score likes to play.
And Moke right now, what a lot to prove. I think the youngest competitor here.
He might be, yeah.
Maybe...
I mean, we always joke about KOF.
Here, I'll skip forward a bit. Cause yeah, it just kind of ends up being a lot of the same.
Anything will do it now for him. Oh, went for the throw, but no dice.
A little bit early on.
Oh no! Dangerous jump.
Well, I'm glad you think so, man.
Oh my God! He can't do nothing.
Wait a minute!
VTuber face reveal. True.
Still in the lead. He still has.
What was that roll? He rolled backwards. No, that's not what he wanted. There's no way he wanted that.
I got distracted because of myself. So what happened here?
He rolled back.
Oh my God.
So that was
Wait
Janet.
Anything could happen.
Crazy. Still in the lead. He still has.
What was that?
Whiff roll into hit confirm. Yeah. Okay. So.
No, that's not what he wanted. There's no way he wanted that. I feel like he wanted a guard.
Yeah, that's another good example of hit confirm. It's time to go, because if I stayed in game, no, KOF takes about 1 3/4 of a second to do its little fade to white plus KO thing. But like literally the frame that I cut out, we can see Score is already popping off. So it's again important to try and get out as early as is possible. And this is another example where tagging with the lower third to say like the game is over is also important here, because of the fact that I got out so early and it was such a like tight turnaround, that if I didn't tag it with the lower third and you don't know what's going on, you're not gonna know at all what just happened. You're gonna be like, what? We're like, I thought the game was still going.
that is a heartbreaker. He's got his head in his hands.
The spin around.
Man, please, I can't take it. I'm heartbroken for him, man.
Me too. I really wanted to see him go far. He's such an interesting, player.
Because so I had two different handhelds. I had one that was stabilized on a Steadicam, and then one that's just a regular handheld. So getting to like spin around helps create a lot of energy, because there's kinetic energy of the camera actually moving around. So in like intense moments like that sort of last hit situation, it's like good to have that sort of movement. And then using the handheld for this sort of pensive static shot of the loser helps out there, because like you don't want to create energy on someone that just lost. You want to sit there and let it sink in that this person is devastated. They lost. They wanted to do better. They wanted to aim for #1, but they couldn't get there. So you don't want to be creating a lot of kinetic energy of the actual camera movement at the same time.
Oh man, just like it's not the fact that he lost, just the way that he lost. That's what hurts the most.
It really, I mean, all credit to Score though for fading that out the way he did.
And that's just, I gotta say,
That was a little awkward. I didn't realize that. Same thing again. Create some kinetic energy, move around, And a lot of the times, I'm lucky. I get to work. I mean, mind you, I like help pick a lot of the camera ops too. But like, I work with camera ops that like know a lot of this stuff subconsciously or consciously, and I don't have to like tell them to do this kind of thing. It helps out, makes it a bit easier.
And look, this is how it ended right there.
Oh man.
So we go into replay.
As you would expect. But no, that was not the case. He gets hit by the OTG
in slow-mo so that you can see the roll, and then speed up because the game's over there.
That's what cost him right there. Mo, what a heartbreaker, dude.
It just, I mean, that definitely felt.
Yeah, it's
right.
Mostly a mental game at this. Those clones, they control space in a similar way.
Uses quarters.
Control space.
It's already been like a while, so I'm just gonna. Do you get to work with static camera ops much? Or does the camera work more expected standard as you go through? So in Toronto, I work with a lot of static camera ops. We have like a handful of folks that like do a lot of the same shows. For example, our main handheld operator for Gommel has done it since 2017. Like they've been around for a while. But especially as I travel from place to place, that's when we start getting a lot of different camera ops. I find camera op to be one of those things that it's like any other role on the production line. Like you want an esports focused person, but sometimes we don't get that opportunity. So we'll end up with folks that I'm meeting for the first time, or folks that like don't know video games at all, in which case then I have to give a lot more direction, and that's totally cool. Like not everyone's on the same level of understanding for the games. It's on me to make sure I understand what's going on, because as the director I need to tell everyone else. So for example, even here, or maybe it's towards the end, it might not have been this match, but a lot of the times when I'm directing to be like, oh, hey guys, we're like almost done. Let me see if I can try and find a situation where this makes sense. I think the orders was best of 3. So like right here, when you're looking at it, we have a situation where ET and Score are very close. If ET kills, then we go to a game 3. If Score kills, then we keep going. So what I try to do is I try to give very precise but easily digestible descriptions of what's actually happening. So I'm like, oh, if the purple dress lady wins, then, we go to this. If the yellow dress lady wins, we go to that. This I started doing a lot more during Guilty Gear, because Guilty Gear is a lot harder for most folks to understand, especially people that like have never watched it before. And sometimes the descriptions get pretty messed up, because I'm like realizing that I need to give a description to make people understand what's happening, but I'm like in the moment trying to figure out like, oh god, what do I say? Like, how do I best describe this character? So sometimes I can get some pretty funky stuff to come out.
Because that guy, he turned it on, and what a way to finish. Score, this guy is ridiculous. You don't OCV him. You don't OCV him ever.
I'm just all exhausted watching that, man.
Seriously.
That's got to be mentally taxing, even if you, like, oh my god.
That was incredible today.
I'm glad you appreciate it, John. I try to also make them funny, just because a lot of the time when confusion is occurring on the crew, I like want to lighten the atmosphere. Well, generally, I want to keep a positive attitude all show long. If I can, you know, also like crack some jokes, have people have a fun time. That's the important part. Like, especially when we have a crew that's like full of esports people, I like want to make sure everyone's having fun, because like a lot of the people, especially on this crew, everyone was what I would call an esports person. Like they were there because they like video games, and that's how they got into it. Ooh, this shot was really good. I don't know why we didn't use it more actually, but as like an intro shot. Hold on.
I keep saying it. Sure.
But around here is when I like finally started. Yeah, it's like being an in-game leader, pretty much. Like the morale's on you, the direction's on you, like what is happening relies on you. And you're like in the moment trying to correct course sometimes. So around here is when I start getting into the groove of figuring out how we do openings, how we do, you know, outs, how we do pauses, things like that.
So be excited to watch some of that, some character variety.
So this shot I thought was really cool. It was a little polarizing in the crew, but I thought it was really cool because whenever you get to work with foreground stuff, it creates, again, a lot of kinetic energy. You get to create a different perspective as to what's going on. And like here, this is losers semi, I think, losers final. So like, you know, we're getting towards the end. It's like becoming more and more important.
What else do you have to say about him? He's an incredible player. Hell yeah.
KOF 14.
But yeah, I mean, we got.
I still think.
Also, anytime there's a Taiwanese flag, I have an interesting experience from working some other shows years ago where back during the fiascos with a certain company, having the Taiwanese flag up was a no-no. We needed to have like a fake Chinese Taipei text flag, and I didn't do that, but I never noticed there was an issue, so now whenever I see a Taiwanese flag, I have to like perk up and be like, okay, yeah, no, we're good. And I do like that we did actually get to show the Taiwanese flag. They're dope people. They deserve it. And especially in KOF, like, they're the kings of the fucking game. So there's something I want to talk about here. Yeah, I think it's always important to rewatch your own projects. Not only to relive the highlight moments, but also just to like think through to yourself of what you can do better next time. So again, I have completely forgotten what round we're in here, but like showing shots of the trophy is just to like create energy, because those shots will always have motion because the trophy itself is static. When you're shooting a person, you don't necessarily need to have motion, because the person is probably, you know, moving, they're breathing, like there is natural motion there. But when you're shooting an inanimate object, you should always is a bit hard to say, but you should try to have movement in it, just because of the fact that the inanimate object will often be moving.
In 2017, it was very international.
That was a little bit awkward. I think that was, yeah, I was waiting for the other camera to like get ready, but they had some issues, so I kind of had to just last on the other one.
That's why it's so difficult for players to kind of break that glass ceiling. But that's what also makes it
so fist bump happened already. We're gonna go into game. This is where, you know, all right, let's go into game. Like, do anything else. So we pushed into the lead. All right, yeah. So this is winner's final. That's why I like show the trophy, create a lot of motion. I'm gonna skip forward here. I think it was cool to be showing the big LED wall in the back for the, like, doing this. But let me see. Oh, I guess I doubled up here again, but that was probably because it ended really quick. So I wanted to come out to the players because, again, it's like about the players first more than anything. Like the shows don't happen without them. It's their story, nothing else's. But it was cool to show like this big grand look at the stage. But I probably could have done it a bit later there.
position to play in
because the
KOF.
players are still on stage.
I mean,
They're not really like doing anything,
Losing is
but
one thing,
you know,
but sometimes you
there's
have to
other things I could have
stand
been
up.
looking
He's
at
got,
instead.
unchecked aggression is like ridiculous for him.
Yeah.
But like ZJ's
going down to, I believe, the losers finals, right? So
All right, we're going to an ad break here, so I'm gonna skip forward. Showing these scenics. Song's a banger. I think I was literally like popping off from the song as I was counting down. I try really hard to like not get into the swing of things emotionally, just because it makes it difficult to like have precise calls. But sometimes it's a little inevitable, especially if the music's dope.
we are here in the Mandalay Bay Arena.
So showing these sorts of scenic shots is nice because it like that one especially like brings the viewer out of the arena. You know, we get to expand the scope of the show.
I would rather be than here in Vegas with my friend Hell Pockets watching this amazing
So we come out of the scenic into straight to the stage because, you know, it's time to get a move on, guys. We got matches. Like, let's go, go,
I'm
go.
about to lose my voice if I scream anymore.
They're popping off.
Dude, we're down to the final, 4 players now.
Yes, we are.
Go to the
this is gonna be a
bracket.
slobber knocker. We've got 3 Taiwanese players left. Every single one that advances.
Championship trophy for
And it's important to show the bracket every now and again because, especially on a esports show, like most people only watch for like 20 minutes. That's like the average time. So it's good to show the bracket again every hour at least. Because that way when someone new is hopping in, and especially on a show like this where, you know, people are literally only just getting into the arena at 1 p.m. or whatever because they were drunk hungover in Vegas, it's good to, you know, create that context again.
For the Evolution Championship trophy for KOF 15 in the inaugural year.
Shot of the trophy.
The first year that we've been here, and what a
Slow
year
movement
has
on the
been.
players
I
as we
know
get
what a
into
couple
loser
years it's
semi.
been, we all led to this. I'm glad to be back. Feels like I never left.
Ready to go. That was a
Yeah,
nice
seriously,
handshake.
I mean, dude, it's like I said, Vegas. It feels like Vegas never changes. It's like a time capsule. Come through, have a good time with us. Next
Yeah, it's time zones,
in lovely Las
people
Vegas
just
again.
waking up,
And it's gonna be another
plenty of
great year, and I
reasons.
sure hope
Also,
that
too,
you
sometimes, like, I mean,
at
you
your
just
swing.
saw it earlier, like, if I'm, I was just stepping through it, mind you, but, like, I already was like, is this loser's semi? But it was winner's final, so, like, you know, helps to create context. That's a important part. If you're telling a story, you need to make sure that you have established context.
Yeah, and wow, okay, Lassa getting.
He really believes in that button, bro.
He really does, yeah. And it's been.
All right, let's skip forward here. What if the bracket is confusing like extended series? Well, then in that case, you're going to show the bracket, but then you're going to show a full screen slate with a billion lines of text on it explaining what the hell extended series even was. Because no chance anyone understands what that is. Because the League Ops staff didn't even understand what extended series was.
Oh, he didn't go for it. He's holding on to that meter, huh?
All right, kind of greedy. Oh my God! Hello?
Especially if he's willing to run up DP Raijinken.
I think he is, you know, a little bit afraid of this character, Rock, as you should be. This character's so strong.
Oh, yeah, man. He's young, dumb, and handsome. Does a lot of damage real easily.
All right, he's got him in the corner now. This is where Smart
From the
getting a lot of health back, too. That was 42 seconds left on the clock.
You see him right there, just trying to keep it together.
Nice air to air. Oh, the reverse DP.
So the sliding doors are nice because it's, while it's slow theoretically to get out of, you're revealing the gameplay underneath it. So like, even if you're a little late, you're still okay because
Staying strong.
in fighting games, everything moves to a center point, especially at the start of a round.
Damn.
Dude, everything came up ET that round. Xiaohei was looking like he was kind of flailing.
Yeah, you said what a sequence, and it just didn't end with one. It was like, I think that was all by design. From the jump back D to the DP to like pretty much that instant over.
So that one was just me prepping the shot.
What in the
Took a
world?
little
He
bit.
did it again. Yo!
That's why we saw the loading screen there for a second.
That's going to be it. ET taking the first game against Xiaohei in this first of 3 sets.
Same thing again here, you know, using the camera to create context. I don't think I took the players' cameras there because I don't think they did anything,
I agree, man.
which
So,
does sometimes
he really
happen.
needs to figure something out. This guy, ET,
I remember them just like sitting there kind of staring at the screen being like, all right, into next game.
In the backfield, in the bullpen, needs to pull him out here because I CD out the gate.
nice. Dude, the way he uses that air Raijinken to bait the
Let's see.
single one.
Right, and that's not basically that means ET gets to sit very comfortably on defense all the time.
Alright, does it still lose his final?
I mean, these guys definitely.
Skip to grands.
Back home, they doing the same stuff.
You're right. You're right.
You know, we got ICFC Asia, ZJZ. Just
Damn, you can
running
like really hear the crowd.
That's true, man.
That's
true.
nice.
So these guys, it looks like they are readied up. It's going to be a 1st-to-3 set. ZJZ in winner's side, so ET does have to win 2 sets in order to take home that trophy, and that is going to be such an ask because ZJZ has looked invincible.
just completely indomitable.
I didn't notice that, but we were updating the characters
I've been
based off
looking at
order
Twitter
selection.
during the
That's pretty
break,
cool.
And people are talking about how incredibly clean his defense is, and I want to say it's so hard to play like that. You try DPing every single jump the way he does. It's impossible.
And you saw ET start to gleam some of
All right,
Let's
the
see.
grand finals,
Wrecking-
most important
All right,
time
throw to close it out. ZJZ
of the
again
tournament,
continuing his reign of
and
terror.
I messed that up. That was the first mistake
very
I
clean
made, I
play,
think.
very methodical. I mean,
They
I
did.
gotta say,
It sounds
it-
the table mics did. I remember. You might have not been here, but I mentioned that Cal actually made a comment during the Mexico the Says MX and Paco series of like, man, these player mics are really cool.
Wow, got away from that tornado just in time.
Trying to keep her out. Forcing Kula. Oh, okay. Jumps over the ice breath. That was like, that's really hard to do, honestly. It's like timing that. Oh my goodness.
And what an odd place to.
But also, too, a lot of the time in a show like EVO, like the players aren't conversing with each other as much.
No.
I think they're good. They're good. They're good. They're good. They're good. They're playing. They're playing.
Oh right, someone hit pause, but the round hadn't started yet, which was a little scary because for whatever reason I didn't like mentally prepare for someone to hit pause, because they didn't like properly pause. They hit the PlayStation menu, so because at the top of the day I like went through and like made sure they were all set to hold to pause. And then yeah, someone hit PlayStation button, which also counts as pause.
Being a little bit aggressive there, finding ET playing a little bit slower and not responding. Jump spacing. Hello?
Alright.
That was crazy. Caught the extended hurt box of the down C, I believe, and ZJZ taking that first game without getting to the final character of his.
What a time to learn about that hurt box. huh?
Seriously, seriously. All right, both guys taking the sip of water. And these two play each other all the time, man. All the time. So this is, I'm sure, no surprise for them that they're able to make it this far and play each other in this grand
man.
final stage.
Flying out here together, traveling together, the road dogs, and the best in the world, man. This is a movie.
We got that Kula mirror to start things off again. Nice. Oh, no. Had the hit, but didn't believe.
Oh, my God.
Nice, nice, nice.
Two legends duking it out.
All right, ET putting on the pressure, but you can't overextend like that against ZJZ.
He's going to take advantage every time. Whoa,
Yeah.
Was that too easy?
Uh,
He's barely getting out of that, though.
Beautiful. Yeah, like we were, you know, ET, we
So the beginning of a game, I tried to give our camera ops a break because being a camera operator is a physically taxing ordeal. So that's why I started relying on these player ISOs a bit more. Wait a second.
Dude, that was ET barely getting out of that, though.
Where's that
Yeah,
flutter?
like we were, you know, ET, we've been saying
In the
throughout this
back?
entire top 8, he usually drops a game.
Bigfoot was behind him.
And
That's
then, you
crazy.
know, once he gets
And
that
Bigfoot
injury,
was
I mean,
wearing
he's
lots of
really hard to
reflectors.
stop.
Really hard to stop. You know?
This is his greatest challenge, though.
I think so, too.
Guys thrown in. It's so difficult to approach him because.
So on the player cameras and the commentator camera, we had set it to f2.8, the aperture of the cameras. There's a couple of times. It's not that they didn't work, it's that I messed up. There's 3 instances where I messed it up. One was egregiously bad in KOF, and then there was 2 in Tekken. And then there was like a couple of times in Strive or Street Fighter where they would like lean forward or backwards, and like I didn't prepare for that, but fixed it for like the next round.
That corner position, he's got the pressure going. ZJZ,
Nice challenge.
yeah, pokes his way out.
I think he wants that corner position, though, because
And the main problem with it was that the since I have to drag it left or right, but if I'm like rushing really fast and I like go up a little bit, it'll like snap off the top of the frame. So there was one moment where in a John Ding match where like his camera was just like pushed down, which was entirely my fault because I was rushing to get it.
Such a clean play from jump any button with Visionet will always trade with any button that Cronin throws on the corner. 1.0
All right, so grand finals wrapping up. So
Great air to air, man. ZJZ keeping it clean. He is unfazed.
Decent amount of life back here. She's pretty healthy. The Cronin's going to have a little bit of work to do. Yeah.
Nice jump, stand 8. Dude, ET taking the corner, positioning back, and then now applying the pressure.
So
Great air.
for fighting games at least, there's what I'd say like 2, maybe 3 different types of rounds. There's a fast round, a slow round, and then a crazy round. The crazy round's like one that doesn't really fit into the 2 of them. So this round here, where ZGG's on his anchor, this is what I would consider a slow round, where coming out of it, it was an expected result. It was a layup into that. Like there wasn't much crazy anything going on. Like CJZ got 30% HP off, but it was just a solid, like, cleared the block string, hit confirm.
Wait a minute. ET has another chance at life.
2 bars, 2. You might want to hold on to it.
And then catch him in the air. So when it's a slow round like that, you don't, or I don't try to create tons of energy or tons of motions. Usually because also too the players are going to be reacting similarly to how it is in game. If it's a slow round in game, they're going to have a slow pause in between rounds. Whereas in a fast round where it's like, you know, like pixel to pixel, or it was just like a super slobber knocker and it was done in like 10 seconds, that's a round where, yeah, I will try and create energy in between rounds, because at that point there is now, you know, there is a reason to follow that energy, or not. I guess creating energy is the wrong term, but like following along and matching the player's energy on camera is the better way of putting it.
I like that. He went guard cancel.
Oh, looking for the cross up there, nothing doing.
ZJZ finally out of the corner, but he's got. Oh, and this will do it.
So we got super. Hit it. So that's the like 3rd crazy round type, where it wasn't necessarily a fast round, but it was like not necessarily the expected result. It wasn't expected to end like that.
That would have been so sick, dude.
And also too, as they get to grand finals, like the pressure builds on the players. They're going to be reacting differently than they would be in like pools.
Yeah, it's going to be on ZJ at this point.
I agree. Go higher.
No, he just got caught.
Pick the best.
Right.
All right. Nice DP though. Nice catch. Nice. Finds the hit. ZJZ bringing it down.
That was 30 seconds in a row with Aru saying nice.
Here you see that shot of the trophy. That's
Every
all
10
about
seconds.
man.
It's all about that. And wow, what a lead ZJZ got right now. That's tremendous.
Oh no!
Oh, that's
Too
huge.
far. A little bit too far from the corner for that.
And just
The stomp, and that takes it. ZJZ taking the lead 2-1 yet again over ET. And now he's on grand finals point.
guys, this could be it. ZJZ could be completing the prophecy.
So whenever it's 2 people playing against each other, I got really lucky because it didn't matter which side flag we were looking at. It's the same flag regardless. But the reason I was doing that is to show like these people are from place. They're representing place. Like, and this becomes more
human ways, right?
usable? No, usable is not the right word. Becomes more relevant in some of the later tournaments, especially in like Street Fighter, where it was a lot of like one country versus another.
But it was kind of scrambled. Beautiful option.
Yeah, he was like, I ain't taking that again.
He said whatever. And he could kind of feel the flow of the match. It was kind of scrambly, more so than the other rounds that we've seen before.
I mean, we talk about how like inhumanly solid they are, but they are still. People think like, maybe I don't have to spin this bar to get rid of the problem, but ZJZ and ET, they're like, look, we gotta. Now he wanted that back so badly, and he threw away the round over it.
Dude, ZJZ now threatening tournament point against ET.
Same thing here,
ET
creating
thought he could
context.
just force the momentum back in his favor, but
Like,
ZJZ said, no, there's
ZJZ's
another
winning.
player here.
This is his name. This is where he's from and who he's sponsored by. Look at that.
Oh, the scramble.
And Z-
You guys are one of those zero down
play footsies with me.
Whoop.
so hard. Oh, he found the hit. He found the hit.
That's gonna be good.
What? No.
All right.
What was that?
Oh, right. The ending of this was fucking crazy.
Are you kidding me?
I can't believe it.
What was that?
He pressed kick instead of punch. How?
What was that?
The nerves got to him, man. Are you serious?
That's why I say ZJZ is the most unfun man to play in KOF, because he makes you forget your own damn super.
So naturally, as the crowd fills up, we can widen up the shot because then it just makes it look more grand.
Are you serious?
That's why I say ZJZ is the most unfun man to play.
So like, there's a lot more people now. We can be a bit wider on camera.
Because he makes you forget your own damn super.
That's crazy. ET, a player of that caliber, making such a costly mistake at that level. That was his round. And unfortunately, ZJZ now is your new KOF 15 grand champion.
How did it happen like this?
That was amazing. ZJZ, man, the guy is such a monster. What a player. The level of play, the level of composure that he displayed throughout this top 8 was just unheard
So we
of.
follow
It
the
was
player
just, he
out.
was playing KOF at a level where even machines would.
I was trying to actually get out of there earlier because the lens flare plays off nicely. Like if
Unheard of. It was just he was playing
the lens flare
KOF
walking
at a
past
level
these
where
lights is nice because it creates like a fake dissolve
even
through color.
machines would,
But
would struggle.
sometimes you can't win that.
Right? You got a Maytag washer. Sometimes that just don't stand the test of time.
Yeah,
But
man.
not ZJZ. Get yourself a ZJZ brand washing machine. You'll never have to buy another one.
That's true, dude. All right. So, Taiwan, of course,
Yeah, do this.
but I'm
I dreamed
All right,
about
so we
this.
sit on our commentators, try to get the
arms
award
out, and
ceremony ready to
everybody, it
go.
was an over 1,000 man. People are only.
This top 8, all of you, take it away.
For K.
All right.
All right, everybody, please, one more time for KOF 15 Top 8 at EVO 2022.
It was probably really difficult for the hosts with the IFB and the mask. I can barely handle like these low blue light glasses headset and a mask. With 2 of the 3 of those at the same time. Ah, that's 2. Feels bad.
And also in 7th place, give it up for more.
At least that one was quick. That one was quick. Oh, he found the camera. I didn't even
now
know.
for 5th place, give it up for the legendary Score.
There's some times where I'll be like, okay, this shot's like chillin'. I don't need to worry about it anymore. And then I'll start working on the next one. So I didn't notice, like mock pointing into the camera, stuff like that.
All right, now also for
Whoops.
5th place, everybody make some noise for Pago.
That was nice.
Now on to 4th place. Please make some noise for Lassie.
Whoops. So that was my bad. We didn't I foolishly didn't expect as much stuff going on at the tip of the stage as there was. So we then since corrected that, where one of the operated handheld cameras covered one of the handheld cameras covered the other, but also two. Every camera operator basically has like a stamina meter, like a stamina meter, like in any video game. So it's important to try and find what the limit of that is, and then keep in mind, that you're only ever getting to like 70% tops in one go, because if you hit 90, 100, it's going to take them longer to recover, to use them again. And that this award ceremony was me finding that limit, so I could know, this is how hard I can go with someone before they like get too tired and like really need to take a break. Because the worst thing you can do is tire them out well before you actually need them again. L.I. Joe clapping into the mic. Omega.
All right, now, please. I need some noise before we even go. I need some noise before we even go. Give it up for your EVO 2022 KOF champion, GGG.
You can tell Chris Lee's really used to doing this stuff because he like knows exactly how to communicate. Like, put that down. There's another thing coming. I think the player picture behind them actually works out really well because you can't see their face fully because of the mask. When we were planning this, there was a lot of worries of like, is this gonna look weird that they're just standing in front of a picture of themselves? But like, you can't really see all of them. So at least with the picture, you get to like actually see all of them, which is nice.
All right, everybody, do me a favor one more time. Give it up for every person on this stage. Your top 8 KOF 15 EVO 2022 players, please.
Yeah, that was that was complete luck. That was a little worried because I was like, oh, the text is gonna be backwards, and then I took the shot and I was like, oh, the text is in the correct orientation. He was holding it backwards. Whoops. All right, we gotta clear the stage now. I'm just gonna follow L.I. Joe around.
All right, wait, hold on, everybody, hold on. What if I told you we got some guests, and I had guests in the building that want to tell you about some more KOF 15? Oda and Joshua Rutherford to tell you about some new KOF 15 stuff.
I mean, following at a farther distance is actually easier because you don't have to move as much. You move far less. When you're uptight, it's harder because then you have to like do bigger motions. I mean, I guess it depends on the person or the operator themselves. Ah, the mics weren't on. I forgot about this debacle. Ruff definitely did a real good job on that on camera 7 though. Camera 7 being this one right here. All right, we go to video, I ever thought that transition for sure. Not, which is why I stopped doing it. We didn't rehearse it. That was my bad. We should have rehearsed it.
KOF 15. Orochi Yashiro.
この一で消し積みにしてあげる
Orochi Shirley.
Oh, that's the wrong button.
出しましょう
Team Samurai.
It's nice to hear the crowd through these. this this one was pretty dope. So this shot, I think we should have gone tighter, but I didn't realize how busy we were during the end of the reveal. Like, I was trying to figure out what to come out to. The crowd was a lot hyper than I thought they were going to be. It doesn't look as empty as I thought it was on the day, but it could have been tighter to make it look more full. Let's skip past this.
Oh my God. All right, hold on. Actually, we're going to cut to a break real quick, but hang out because we do have some more. Hang out. Don't.
Fast.
This Persona bit was nothing to really scoff at. It just kind of happened.
Voyaging.
Y'all asked, we answered. Rollback netcode has finally been implemented on PlayStation 4 with an open.
And it wasn't like a reveal. It was just like, here's the thing we told you on Friday. But that's fine. All right.
Are you ready for more fighting?
So I think we fix. Oh, I didn't talk about it, but here on the player desk, the monitor that's visible. I had told our stage management team, make sure it's just on like the opening, not even the main menu, just like the opening, because that way like you'll see like, you know, it'll just be some nice eye candy, because it's right above the host.
That's what I like to hear. We are
I think it looked really nice.
extremely honored to feature
Seeing the like
Pride,
Tekken
one
opening
of the most
cinematic
celebrated
over top.
games of not only its series but across the entire FGC. Celebrating its 7th appearance at EVO is none other than Tekken 7.
Go to video, video, everybody video. Ah! I didn't actually watch any of this during the stream because I was busy doing other stuff, so I'd like to see what happens. This like fake arcade cabinet thing's pretty cool. It's one of the weird things about like directing the stream is that sometimes I don't actually know what's going on, for lack of a better phrase. Like, there can be things happening, but if it's like when I go to a video, I don't need to pay attention. There's a clock. Someone will tell me, hey, it's ending in 30 seconds, and then I need to know what I'm going to next. So I oftentimes will try and take these as like a little break for myself. Alright, so I guess it's just gameplay combo stuff.
Presenting your Tekken 7 Top 8, Khan!
I shouldn't have wiped out of that.
Super Akuma!
I'm pretty sure right around here is when I was like, Spencer, please hurry up. I need the player cards faster, because I was missing the actual like walkout moment. But there's enough stuff going on that it's not like a huge deal. But yeah, like getting this shot where you can see like the opening of the bowl behind them, the player coming out. I think it's cool. So I want to show it off. I think the year's active was like a very good change that we had made. Like seeing that Knee has played Tekken for 18 years is incredible. Whoops. Took a hit there. I don't know why.
And rounding out your top 8, Piña!
Yeah, I think the Dutch angles worked really well. Especially because we're like transitioning from very distinct locations for the cameras. Like having the Dutch angle actually works out because like we get their full body and then you know, come out to see a line of people. Because at the beginning of the intros, the Dutch angle actually ends much sooner. Like it's far less Dutch at the beginning because it's only one person to end on. So yeah, I liked it. And on the top 8.
All right, let's get it started and head over
That
to
crowd's
the
been into top 8.
break down all the action for you.
You know.
Welcome everyone to EVO
And I think coming into the
2022
commentator
Tekken 7
cameras
Top
first
8.
was a good
My
change we
name is
made as well.
Seven is at still
The top 8 rip
Geese
rules, and again,
Right.
ding
Oh,
on his
yeah.
path to get into this top 8, so he just barely missed out on that.
JDCR mentioned that he was actually training with Junding leading up to this tournament. They ended up
Wow.
running into each other in the bracket. And of course, Junding, another player that has beaten so many of the top names leading into this event.
Yeah, and John Ding is one of those players, we'll talk about it a little bit later when his matches come up, but he has improved so much with his new character since we last saw him in the Tekken World Tour, etc.
Oh,
But
yeah.
here we go. These guys are going to be crazy. And the thing that stands out to me about this matchup is that Khan has a lot of experience against Akuma players. Pakistan is where we know all the Akuma players really rose up and took that character back to the top, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's going to be very prepared for this matchup.
Oh, yeah. I think they are going to just do a quick button check as we get into this. But of course, looking at this particular matchup, it's very high octane. One of the things that you have to watch out for is once they have that meter, that's when the
Slow
that's
movements,
when
not a
the
lot
crowd gets
happening.
crazy, and when they
Tekken
start feeling like
is a
something
very
is
different
gonna
game
explode.
from KOF or Flow
Without a doubt.
because
This
the
one,
game
man,
takes forever to load at the
Wild. You know,
beginning,
think back to that low Majin
but
match
then
in
is
EVO,
very
he did
quick
it against Majin Vega JDCR, and he did it, right? This could be
between
super moments
rounds,
just
which
like
is
that.
very
It could be
odd.
anybody.
Whereas KOF's almost the opposite.
Given
KOF
Sunday,
loads
one
very
day
quickly at the
to
beginning
be
and then
ready.
takes
It is
forever between
Sunday.
rounds.
Anything can happen. I'm excited, of course. These two players have been
So we've
battling
just got a button check,
globally around
you know,
the world
not much
against so
going
many of the
on.
other Tekken greats, and it's only a matter of time before somebody gets their new legend reborn.
Yeah, they're doing a button check right now, guys. Let me tell you, it is 2 out of 3 rounds there. Somebody needs to change that. I'm just letting people know so that hopefully it'll get to them before we get started here. Because sometimes, you know, even when I'm doing a button check, I wouldn't have noticed that. I'm like, oh yeah, it's great, except that, oh yeah, it's not 3 rounds.
Sometimes these things happen. The butterflies, they start building up, not able to really get into it, but of course,
do it.
they're doing it right now.
Okay, all right, we saved them.
Either way, if you guys are tuning in, Tekken 7 obviously has been around for a few years now. Has a number
Rounds
of
messed up.
characters, of course,
Good
Legacy
to
fans love
fix before we
Or
get
in more
started.
casual fans, Tekken 7 came out to 2,000 people, and that was the biggest Tekken tournament of all time. This year, 1,200 people, which is, I think, still amazing.
I still don't know what he did there. Like, why did he touch the bottom of the monitor? He didn't pop up a menu or anything. He didn't power it on and off. Like, surely just a finger wasn't enough to adjust it.
One of the
Like,
biggest tournaments here at this event. And again, if it wasn't for COVID, I think we could have kept going.
Right, considering we had that 3-year gap, the game was already getting old at that point, right? For it to hold out, we lost a lot of momentum. Let's not forget, 2019, the storylines for Tekken 7 was getting crazy, right? Pakistan arrived on the scene. We were like, oh my gosh, but then they lost the TWT finals. What's going to happen next? Pause, you know, we'll come back to it later. Unpause right now.
I don't look at it as a pause. I look at it as the anime training arc.
It is.
It is the training arc, and now the fruits of your labor are starting to show. The match is starting, Rip.
Yes, it is. The crowd is getting into it. They, you know, from the initial reaction from the crowd, it looked like people were heavily backing Super Akuma out here. So Super Akuma versus Khan.
No melee.
Akuma, we got the geese.
this is a fighting game tournament, excuse you.
On the Forgotten Realm for our first game to kick off the top 8.
Oh yeah, and this stage is filled with not only walls, but floor breaks, which can lead to more and more potential damage. If you guys have not seen a battle here yet, you are about to be treated because this battle...
Also in Tekken, everyone let the intros rock, which was weird. I wasn't used to that.
SNK.
Wow. The battle of the 2Ds here in the 3D universe. Akuma and Geese. Watch the meter. Watch the fireballs. Watch the Repukins.
Oh yeah, Khan, one of the most solid defensive players out of Pakistan. Arslan Ash on record to say that he is probably one of the toughest competitors that he has to go up against in his local scene.
And the way Super Akuma's been playing in this tournament, at least, he's been very brave. A lot more down forward than I'm used to seeing from him. So he's basically unafraid. He's really forcing his opponent to really play in the moment.
It's crazy that he's done as much, I should say. Oh, he drops the hit.
Doesn't get it. He went for a counter mid-count, didn't fight it either.
So beginning of the top 8, I was mentioning earlier, but yeah, just giving the camera ops a break. Camera 4, which was the steady cam, doesn't get used at all for the first 2 matches. Just using the player POVs or ISOs. ISO meaning isolated.
Oh boy.
Lights him up. Here we go.
Yeah, there's 10,000 people out here. Gets another wall splat though. Good confirm. This should be the round this time unless something. Oh, the wall sideways. Okay. It's okay.
He got lucky that the meat of that hit ended up taking the round. Here we go, tied up on round. But it's Super Akuma flirting with that meter, flirting with that unscaled damage. Look at it! Defensive jab.
That meter for damage. A master of this character.
You can't tech roll.
Don't give me it again.
He got caught. He might be.
Yeah, with Tekken, it's
7 golden letters.
Yo, final round game.
yeah, Tekken the rounds end or restart so quickly. It's hard to get a full beat out of it.
Jumping kick would have probably worked out for him. Maybe float conversion.
But so using cinematic cameras is nice because we can create this like strong depth of field between the players and the crowd here. You can see like in the background, you can see that there's a lot of people there, but you can't actually make them out because the focus isn't on them. They are quite literally an accessory to the subject, which is the player here.
Khan now down for max mode cancel for the pressure. Super Akuma had the jump, man. He went for the air fireball in return. Jumping
And setting to those more open iris settings of F2, F2.8 really help let that happen. Which is why I like using cinema cameras on broadcast, because actual broadcast cameras are not generally meant to like do that, because that's bad in sports, because things are so far away, people are so far away from each other. But when you're in these like tight 1v1 settings, it helps to be able to create the focus just on the players. I think a lot of these matches end up being a lot of the same of what we just had in KOF. using KOF as like a way to really like feel out what we're doing. How's it working?
Yes.
But let's see what he does. Oh, look, he has his icon as Fengway. I feel like we should default his icon of Brian always.
Just to inspire him, remind him.
Yeah, remind him. Or you want to do a Heihachi chant? What
He's out of there. Well, and he blocked it down four at the end. He blocked it at the end. He's like, yeah, you need a big chunky hit. It's going to be the down four, and I'm going to block it.
I should have grabbed
Like 0
water
seconds
before
on
I
the clock.
started
You're
this.
not stealing it from me.
I ran out of
Traditionally,
tea
that is
too
the defense
quickly.
that He will whittle you down to the very
Whoops.
end. But look at that knee with a 2-round lead here. Morwell's going to have to really find some ways to get in. I don't think he can bet on the end of every single round. He needs to do something here.
It feels like he's trying to play Knee's game back, and he's doing a great job of it. Better than I've seen most players do. But even, we need the thief power. Again, 10 more times. Wait, he actually might win. He might win.
So timeouts started happening a lot in Tekken.
Because he believed he had enough life to take all the down fours, so he didn't even try to block them.
I mean, that is
Timeouts
characteristic from Knee.
kind of
He does
break
not
the
stop.
slow,
He does
fast
not
round
want to get
rule
broken down or get hit
in
by
that
He thought it was calculated.
they can
But
happen
it's shadow time. It's not knee time.
fast,
Not yet. Let's see
like
what happens.
on paper, but the reaction will end up being as if it was a slow round, because generally, because it's a timeout, it's a layup into it. People know what's coming. Obviously, timeouts are like super hype from like a commentator audience perspective, but from a player perspective, like you know exactly what's about to happen here, and you're already very tense. So you know if you're gonna win it or not.
Stay with the offense. You know, the defense
Again,
failed you the
always
last
not
round.
true. Sometimes it does end up still playing out like a fast round on camera, but generally timeouts end up being slow reactions, pensive movement. They're just moving on, trying to get into the next round.
Very fancy. Yeah, definitely one Korean
Oh my
gonna
god,
be
we're
in that
5
top
hours in
three,
already.
right?
This
'Cause
is
both you guys
insane.
from Korea, and it's getting-
This show is so long. And directing a show that's this long is very different from doing like a small nightly 3-hour studio show, because of the fact you have to really pay attention to energy levels and morale all day. Because like even for myself, like if I'm directing super hard the entire time, being really snappy with everything, like doing tons of cool stuff, that's easy to do when you only have 3 hours. But if you're going for 16 hours like we did here, then you don't want to be doing that the whole time, because otherwise you're just going to tire yourself out. You're going to be dead before you even get to halfway through the show. So knowing how to pace oneself is really important, because otherwise you're just going to ruin the show if you like go balls to the wall and then destroy yourself doing so.
They changed the icon.
They changed the icon.
Where's
That's
the band
band
to go? That's fair. It is fair.
All right, they're checking their buttons again, making sure everything's cool. But what character are we going to get from rank 2? That's the question. If he stays with the Julie, he can switch the stage here. And in a mirror match, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, my
he hovered over it. People went crazy.
The beauty of 2 out of 3 is it forces hard decisions for these players and puts them in a position. It's because of losers bracket where you run your tournament like.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think how I pace myself on a show is one of those things that I don't really do consciously. I've been trying to make an effort to make it more conscious, just because of the fact that the more anything becomes a conscious effort, the better it'll be, usually. One thing with fighting game shows specifically, especially for something like EVO, where you have that like linear progression of a top 8, that alone helps a lot. Where winner semifinal is one of the least important matches in the top 8, even if it is in winners, because of the fact that because it's in winners, it's not an elimination round. Both players are going to be fine, and yeah, it's not an elimination match. You're at the very beginning of the top 8. People are still rubbing the crud out of their eyes, so going slower in those sorts of matches usually helps out a lot. Losers round of 8 or losers 8s, those ends up being a match where it's elimination, but it's still like super early on. Like usually it's expected results that happen there. So those first 4 matches, you know, you can go lighter, go easier, take that breath. And then similarly, even within a match, like game 1 is practically pointless. So it's fine to, you know, chill out, take it easy to make sure that you're ready to go for the later parts of the match. Ah, there's that's one of the other ones. Rangchu like played in his chair and then immediately got up at the end of the round, and I was like, man, what am I supposed to do?
He's fighting with that bear. Oh my gosh, what an interrupt. So brave. But John Ding looks very composed right now. Rangchu's not believing. Eliminates Rangchu from EVO 2022.
Gotta give it up for Rangchu, of course, making it all the way to our top 8. Very consistent player, always getting top 8s in major tournaments around the world. Gonna have to retire from today's competition. But John Ding, of course, moving on with that Chang.
And you know, you see the friendship there. 7th place for Rangchu. And this tournament has been so difficult.
Whoop.
If you were watching the top 48 last
Whenever
night,
that happens, I just like accidentally am holding down space. So my bad.
Like, you know, 21st, 17th, they're like, man, that
Opening game.
yeah, it was a mix there from the down forward 1 because the previous round Arslan had done the high extension.
Down forward 1-4.
Pena
Yeah.
did not duck there, right? So this time Pena's like, I gotta duck it this time and get the punish. Instead, Arslan's like, no, it's a mid this time. Cannot duck there.
Surprise, and that's the thing. Some of the most basic quick pokes.
I'm gonna skip forward again. Where is
Into the action.
this? Is this
It
winners
is gonna
final?
be the winners finals. 3
Yeah, okay.
out of 5. The first to 3 games will secure a spot in grand finals. The element there. Khan has not had an opportunity to use any of that meter. Gets a nice punish. Knee's gonna have to be careful. There is a wall in play, but look at that, just maneuvering, sidestep, low parry.
That was all, yeah, the step.
Duck, follow fish hook again. Try to control the space here between both of these players. Now Knee's starting to.
I love.
He's aiming for it.
Of course, and the pixel. Beef Howard, not gonna happen.
So same thing here, slow round, you know,
Knee,
expected
2-1
result. But now
down.
as the crowd starts filling up, they're just going to be cheering regardless. So it becomes important to start paying attention more so to the game as to what's actually happening, because if the game is a slow round, you don't want to be too you don't want the crowd shots to be too prevalent, because if it was like a nothing burger of a round, then you don't want to be like, oh wow, look at that.
He is
Amazing.
a monster.
Absolute monster. First started
You know,
traveling, I think,
here
to
we
the US
have,
way back in
you know,
2010.
representing Korea,
Correct?
Knee, crowd
But
goes
yeah,
wild,
he
you know,
is
hitting a lot of
phenomenal.
the
Yet
usual
to win.
motions because it's winners final, it's an important round. You know, this is the one that leads, you're one match away from winning the whole thing.
That was the last time we
Oh, it's kind of exactly. He's got range. Spend it.
So this would be a fast round.
Oh my gosh.
What a
God.
scramble sequence. He
That
made
was a
his way
scramble,
from
the crowd's
Redford,
crazy.
and he
You could
could've
see
been-
people, they're like putting their hands in their heads, they're like freaking out, they're like, whoa.
Just spend it. Oh my God.
You know, you've got like that dude over here on the right, you've got a few folks being like bewildered on the
What a
left.
scramble sequence. He made it
That
way
dude in the
from
middle,
Redford.
like,
Could've been
really made this
ripped
shot.
off
Oh my
points on
gosh.
that part. Oh my God,
But
what
like,
are we doing?
again, it's important to be making sure that
He is trying
um,
so hard.
when you're doing a show like this, you're
Beautiful.
painting the story with the camera shots that you're using.
Knee is so ready. His
Because I could have taken a crowd shot where it's just people being like,
Wow, no wall back.
yay! And that doesn't actually tell the story of what the round was. And I did have that option for that specific one. For that specific round, there was 2 crowd shots. One where people were just getting hype, and then the other one where people were like being bewildered, freaking out.
Nice back block to follow up here. Let's see what he does.
So I had to make like a fraction of a second decision to go to the one with the people being confused, because it was a fast, tight round.
All right, well, get to the next wall then. The W. No threat. Oh my goodness, the backboard, the bishop, and Knee is on set point to go to the grand final.
But also, too, in Tekken specifically, if I show the crowd, it's very unlikely that I'll be able to get a player shot in too, because you can see there I saw the crowd for like 3/4 of a second. It's super not helpful. So I need to be sure that like whatever shot I go to at the end of a round in Tekken is the shot I'm sticking with, because I'm not gonna have a lot of time to like do anything else.
Knee
up though.
Alright, let's see.
It could have been, but it's not. Instead, Knee's almost got him. The counter. The wall's right there, though. He's going to live. Last chance, Khan. Down two. Knee is going.
So Knee gets the win. The lights are going. You can see all the crowd in the back. People are hype.
What an amazing set.
Trying to paint the story that this is Knee's trying again to win an EVO that he's never been able to do before. The sigh of relief at the end of the round there being the most important part.
It could have been, but it's not. Instead, Knee's almost got him. The
See.
counter. The wall's right there, though. He's gonna live. Last chance, Khan. Down two.
Yeah, that like, oh my god, I did it, is one of the most important parts. Missing that would have been bad.
Knee is going to the grand finals of EVO.
Because especially with Masson, it's hard to like get emotion out of players. So body language plays a much bigger part of all of this.
Or great tech in action. Knee, the legend. We will see him a little bit later, but now that means Khan is moving to the losers bracket.
Oh, okay. We were going to a replay. I needed to make sure I was on the right
Yeah,
channel.
look at this, man. I think this is the part where that down four comes in. Oh, no, this was the counter. Oh, my gosh. And Knee got it there. And then the down two to close it out. Yeah, that was just right after the drop combo that we saw from Khan. And Knee with the celebration, the pop-off. He's on the winner's side of grand finals. Has yet to win an EVO.
As the player,
Right? Chance?
there is on top. I mean, I feel like that's for most Arslan
most players,
matches, right?
Losers final, you
It's gonna
know,
be tough. I am
trophy,
excited to see
important
the
elimination
decisions
match.
made here from Jun
Or
Jin.
loses semi, I
Right now,
guess.
the ball is in his court. We know how Arslan is going to approach the match. He's going to backdash. He's going to sidestep. But as you mentioned, Julia has so many amazing tools, not only to catch.
Approach in this bracket, right? His run through this bracket. JDCR, Anakin, Rangchu, just crazy. Mayo Pakistan. And
Final
those are the
four.
matchups.
Final
Korea
four.
won the first round.
Arguably the strongest regions in Tekken, right? The pandemic and doing for this.
I think Julie is the answer.
But I one blazing. Let's see what happens. Oh, what
No. And you know, it's even weirder that he used it in that.
needle? And look at Arslan sidewall stun, but still converts to some damage.
Wait a second. Wait, did he get
Was
him?
this the
No
one where
way.
I messed up?
What was going on there?
No. And you know, it's even weirder that he used it in that.
Yeah,
No.
especially with those commit.
Oh! Do this time.
And the follow-up here, down forward 1-2-1, looking to close it out in 2 straight rounds. Man, maybe Eddie was not the right choice.
This is where I messed it up. And I very quickly got out of it because I was like, whoopsie.
Pull out here.
Eventually I'm want to build a better system for doing those, but I'm not really sure the easiest method of that is. A lot of it's just I gotta be on myself better, but
Is he gonna fish for that
it
he
is what it
missed?
is.
It kind of put
Stepping counter hit.
how much he's been playing her, right? Is he gonna hover it? Oh, he's going to the Julia. I think the Julia's been it's what got him here.
Yeah.
Right? Main. This is awesome though.
It is, because, again, there are certain connections players have deep.
Very deep, right? Because it seems like the character, it's not all there. Try that we've seen.
Bracket match.
Oh man, and if Arslan wins this, we get Arslan versus Khan in the loser final.
Has a second.
No.
Oh, and I think I
he
messed
tried
it up
this
again
free kick.
here
Eddie
because I remember
Sprinkley
this
leaves him
stage.
badgered. Very dangerous. And look at the comeback that
Block.
We're all caught up. Rage versus Rage. Rage driving lows coming at you. What you gonna do?
Because I remembered I messed it up.
He did not have enough life to survive.
Oh,
Look
okay,
at the
I guess
defense.
that's
He was
next
counting
round.
this.
To do that poke anymore. Back 1-4-3 again. Clean, nice.
So there's 2 reasons that I would bring in the like sliding doors over just a player picture full.
And he needed that round.
One
Here's a
is
little bit of
I'm
confidence
preoccupied. It's a 1 button hit to bring in the sliding doors versus anything else. So like when I was eating, I would use it a lot just because I don't have to think about it. I can just bring it in. It shows both players. It accomplishes the goal.
But Arslan, look at
Or
the
2,
follow-up.
both players are actually reacting. So I will use this shot. This is one of the ones where it was messed up because I was rushing to fix it. I think I was eating during this. I think that's why. I was like making a few more mechanical errors than I should have been.
Jun Jing, he needs to really put all of what he's got left.
With his reads. And just like that, it's set point for Arslan.
But yeah, you can kind of see that like Arslan and Zhongding both had like Arslan less so than Zhongding, but like they both had a reaction there, so I wanted to use it.
Yep. Game 2.
Or now, because he branched.
He is moving right now.
Man, I feel like he's. Oh, this is gonna hurt. It's not gonna
It's a
kill.
ton of
But the
damage.
mix up.
Arslan Ash. Arslan trying to close it out and go to top 3. Junding trying
Game's
to
about to
survive.
end here.
Oh my gosh, he's done.
Staying
Caught
ready.
him as he came in down forward 1-4. Nicely done. Arslan Ash takes out Junding and moves in to top 3 of the tournament. But shout out to Junding. 4th place here at EVO 2022. Nicely done.
South Korea getting 4th place here with his amazing play with Julia, but also Eddie Gordo. Pleasure to see, of course. Very much a crowd pleaser.
Seeing the
but
Pakistan
Arslan
flag
Ash,
in the back
story
is
champion
important.
from
Seeing
2019.
where he goes to is
He's come back
important.
and now guaranteeing
Crowd's
himself a
clapping.
top 3
They're
finish.
applauding
This is
both winner and
crazy.
loser.
This is absolutely crazy.
And around this part is where I started turning up what I was listening to in my ears and like trying to do camera beats that matched the music a bit. So
Nicely done. Arslan Ash takes out Junding and moves in to top 3 of the tournament. But shout out to Junding. 4th place here at EVO 2022. Nicely done.
South Korea getting 4th place here with his amazing play with Julia, but also Eddie Gordo. Pleasure to see, of course. Very much a crowd pleaser, but Arslan Ash, the story champion from 2019, making his comeback and now guaranteeing himself a top 3 finish.
This
So yeah, I
is
tried to
crazy.
line up
This is
that cut
absolutely
back
crazy.
from the crowd
Top
to
3,
with
we
the
got
drop
Faye sitting
in
on
the
winner side of
song.
grand finals. We got Khan sitting in loser final, gonna be going up against
Sometimes
Arslan
it's difficult
Pakistan
to like
winner gets
match up
me,
cameras to
who's
the
on
music,
the
but
winner's
when it
side.
does work out, it ends up looking really nice. And it's one of those subtle things that no one notices, but like makes a huge difference.
The king of fighters.
All right, losers final. Started getting spicy around here.
He could pull off a miracle here. Will he be able? Uh-oh.
2 meters.
It's 2 people from Pakistan. We're like 1 match away from grands. You know, these players have been playing out of their minds, all top 8.
Is it enough? Rashomon! There you go.
And it's just enough. Able to close it out here. Khan one
Starting to use the handhelds
from taking the first
as
game.
much as
Will
I
he be able
can
to
every
do it? That's the
round.
question.
Someone like Connor.
Is he gonna go downstairs?
Oh,
He
yeah.
might. He will.
Let's go outside. Let's go outside.
You cannot. All right, here we go. Pushing towards the wall. Gets him on the ground in motion.
Because using the static cameras doesn't do much justice. Because even if I'm using a handheld camera and it's like very slow movements like this after a slow round, it'll still be, you know, that much more kinetic energy than
How many times have you ever seen Arslan
than one of the like static player cameras would be. But also too, you get to see a lot more of the crowd in it. Like, you know, we're getting towards the end. The bowl is full. This is important. We're going to be wide. Show how grand
with something that
the
big?
spectacle
I
of
can't
all of
even
this is.
remember. I can't even
think of
remember.
it
Yeah.
time. Man, Arslan is breathing heavy right now. We're looking at Khan obviously, but I'm looking at another view. Arslan is breathing heavy. He has some concern right now.
And that's right there is an example of listening to what the talent are talking about to make sure that you're like trying to match audio and video. It's like I was mentioning during KOF, like he started talking about Arslan, so I was like, oh crap, gotta get to Arslan Ash.
Stars of Pakistan, of course, Pakistani players really coming into prominence during the 2019 year. Some of the best players from around the world. Arguably, a lot of people say the best region overall.
Yes.
But again, we rarely get to see them in these events just because.
And now they're like breathing heavily, slowing down the shots, more pensive.
Showing their dominance. Arslan Ash,
Both of them playing for Pakistan to represent their country in grand finals, long dissolved into the intros.
Arslan here going to
see what kind
and I really
huge of making.
and so far Khan really got the jab.
Slow round, coming down to time as well.
He's gonna pull it off, and he's gonna take the round 3 rounds straight.
Khan!
Oh my gosh!
Khan was sitting back so far in his chair, and he cannot believe it. He literally cannot
This
believe it.
was an example
I can't believe he
of
did that to me.
me being not as accustomed with Tekken as I would have liked, but also being preoccupied. I should have cut out on the hit confirm for that, but I didn't.
It's such, for those of you guys that don't know, right? It's such a slow move that players can react to it unless they're not looking for it at all.
Yeah, he was able to pull off. That was the snakiest of snake edges if I've ever seen one. Anyways, we are going into a tied set right now.
Again
this
here,
race is
matching
to
the
3, so
player's
now
energy.
Whoever can win the next 2 matches will be able to seal the deal.
Arslan's like
This is huge. This is
Really
huge. Where are we going?
taking his
Keep
time,
Corp
trying to be
Helipad at
careful.
night? It's going to be good for Geese.
It's going to be good for whoever gets the hit at the wall.
That's the great point.
I mean, but of course, Geese, no, it comes down to who's early on. That's
Going to look for the wall. Right on.
oh, yeah.
One of my favorite shots of the whole show is coming up.
Back three. What he does.
The lead in the set.
Using that down. That defense.
Step in,
Was it
daddy,
between
daddy,
this?
step. Man,
No, okay, so it's at the end of the game.
Here we go.
it's the timing from Khan.
He has been a
So
this game now.
around here, 30 seconds in, I had a crazy idea. One of the hardest things to do when you're producing the broadcast is join the connection between the in-house experience and the broadcast experience. One of the easiest ways of doing this is pretending to do crowd creep. Or not pretending, doing crowd creep, which is pretending to be a crowd member. So I asked Camera 4 to pick up and head out into the crowd and take a look at the stage, as this is also an easy way of showing how grand the spectacle is and how much further above these two players are of us, because you'll get to see the whole stage. The stage has 2 elevation levels above the floor, so that also helps out a lot. Con ends, and when we come out, you can see the game on screen, so you still get that context that the game is over, but like this dude in the Fatal Fury hat popped off, and we had zero expectation for this shot to work out as well as it did, because this was unrehearsed. But you get the people popping off, you get to see the game ending, you get to see how big that stage actually is, with the silhouettes of people in front of you, so it makes you feel like you're in the crowd. You get to see how far away the players are, how further up they are, and then we get to come back and see the players' reactions to, what was a very intense round.
He's gathered so far and said big breaths. He talked earlier this year
And the important thing is like you're playing a fighting game, that after the game ends, you're going to be very excited, but then you got to reset your energy. Same thing on broadcast, it's going to be like, it's going to be the fast-paced, super snappy, like crazy spectacle shots. We get to see everything going on into, slower holding on a player.
Oh my god, you guys, he had his hand over his eyes. Infinite, for sure, yeah. Infinite is your choice. What he's gonna
So yeah, we start slowing down as they get back into the game. The players are slowing down as well. They're like getting ready. And this is one of those instances where you do want to just linger on the players as long as possible.
He's got to win 2 games in a row against Khan.
You gotta remember, he's
Gonna show the trophy because that's what they're playing for, and then we get into game for intros. Gonna skip ahead to grands here. Lots of emotion. Lots of crowd popping off.
An amazing persistence. Khan able to take out his training partner, his fellow Pakistani player, and he is now having a rematch in grand finals with the legend Nee. Amazing.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
Unbelievable.
We're just going to slowly follow them out, show the grand nature of the entire arena behind them with the spin around.
The big lows were working early, gave him some confidence to use
And
it
then
there, and Khan made him
bail.
pay for it.
Now we're going to get into grands.
Right now, it feels like Nia's lost Khan's timing.
Incorporating more trophy shots, higher energy shots.
Finally, he pulls it out. Nee 1 game away from being a Tekken 7 EVO champion. Been killer with the
around.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see.
10 seconds. This is going to be so dangerous. Beautiful stuff. Yo, the conversion. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
He has been killer with the instant air Rufuken into a follow-up combo. He has landed at
So yeah, doing stuff like that, showing the trophy into a player, because they don't necessarily have their eyes physically on it, but they do have their minds on it. We have our eyes on it because that's what they're playing for.
Nice throw, bro. Out. Low parry from Khan.
He is so defensively ready. He's been getting all these options in the right way.
Lost Khan's timing.
Rest of grand finals is just like KOF here, nothing to scoff at.
So
He's
so far.
playing for his first potential EVO title. Whoa.
The throw broken.
Last round, game 4.
Oh, he's gonna have position. He's gonna get a wall break as well. No,
It's already gone. It's already gone. Time though. Plenty of time. Big life leap for knee. That should have been back 3-2. That was his chance.
he goes for the throw. So much pressure. Something's gonna happen.
Oh,
he
but he
missed
blocked it. Punished with back 3-2. Again, he missed
He
it.
had 2 chances there. He had 2 chances.
He is
Rim.
so close to winning this championship.
But the meter, he has so much meter.
Spend the meter, Geese. He spent it. Here's the mix.
10 seconds about left right now.
It's close. He's got one more bar. Knee can be champion in 5 seconds. He's got the lead. He's got the lead. Knee's gonna do it. In 3, 2, 1. Knee is your Tekken 7 champion at EVO 2022.
For that one, since it was coming down to time and he got the Hicken from there, it's like totally fine to like wait a little bit, because even they like were waiting a little bit since it was coming down to time.
Oh my God.
Knee gets his winning moment.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. After so many years of trying to win this tournament, he has finally done it. This game
Holding on him because this is his moment. He just won his first Tekken EVO championship.
Great stuff.
So I'm not showing the crowd, not like creating too much movement, just creating movement by taking different angles of him, but like not spinning around, not doing any of that sort of stuff, because he's like letting this moment sink in.
Knee whip, some big moments, kind of 2 bars a meter, no back 3-2 whip punishment, and it's like he missed it, he recognized he missed it, he put the back 3 right after.
And then we're just gonna bail because there's nothing else to do. He's just gonna stay up there for award ceremony.
Give me more Tekken. I don't care.
Yes.
I'm happy.
In search of the illustrious EVO champion title, we entered this arena with 8, and now it is time to award our winners. In 7th place, from Korea,
So I think by Tekken, we've like fixed our coverage problem and stamina problem for the camera operators. Dude with his phone, Lamau. So I have one camera doing the first 4, one camera doing the other 4, and then camera 7, which is the one way at the back, is just covering all of it, and then camera 6, which is up at the top, also helping cover the final 4, or doing crowd in the beginning bits. I don't know how often we actually took the crowd shots.
in 5th place, from Korea, Ma-il!
Oh my god, Chris Lee just had them in his pocket. I guess that's one way of doing it. Okay, yeah, so, you know, catching applaud again so that visual can match audio here a little bit. Whoops. I was wondering what that was, but Chris Lee is telling Sumi to slow down a little.
In 4th place,
But it came through the
from
mic,
Korea,
just barely. Oops.
Ding!
How are we hearing that? Is that off the table mics or something? Like, where's that
And for
coming from?
top 3, in 3rd place, from Pakistan, Arslan Ash!
Got the embrace. Yeah, like even here you can see like we're taking wider shots. There's a lot more people showing more of the crowd in behind them.
In 2nd place, representing Pakistan, Khan!
Man, dude, just look at his eyes. He did not want second place. Hold on. Oh. I want to skip back 10 seconds, but maybe I should have just done that. Hold on.
Representing Pakistan, Khan!
you can see he did not take that loss very well. Or at least, well, he took it well, but like it was painful for him. Like the light reflecting in his eyes, also another teller. His body language, he's like, he's a buff dude, but he's like, you know, slinking down a bit. Yeah, and then clearing out his eyes. And so when there's moments like that, I am presenting with two options. I can either tighten up on him to show more of that emotion, or widen out a bit more to like give him his space. And that's what I generally choose to do, because like you can see it enough. We don't need to dwell on it too much.
Your EVO 2022 Tekken 7 champion. From Korea, put your hands up for Knee!
Ooh, took a hit there. Whoops.
Give it up for your EVO 2022 Tekken 7 champion! And everybody, you have to give all of the top 8 their flowers. Put your hands together for the Tekken 7 top 8.
Crowd shot. Nope. I was busy, I guess.
Now, we've had a lot of Tekken 7 here at EVO over the years.
Reveal. TWT thing.
Steve!
This bit,
Let's go!
I wish
Oh my God! It's a
we had a bit more information.
We're not gonna fight! This is ridiculous!
But also I had a lot of hesitation here.
Is that real? Is it real? Where's everything? This one, that one, that one.
Because the bit like lasted too long here, but
You jumped us.
I was hesitating, which was my bad. So that's Tekken.
On gratitude. So there's some really important thank yous that need to go out. First set of thank yous. This kind of event does not happen.
I think this like Chris Lee segment actually worked really well. I wasn't sure what was going to happen in it,
Offer
but
them a little bit of an applause, thanking our partner and sponsors for all of the
I do wish that I had kept one other camera around, because I intended on just making this easy. We just follow them left, right, give all the camera ops a long break. We, we're halfway through the day. We got Street Fighter to go, and Strive, but this was just call and response with the crowd, so not having a crowd over.
Think of all of those wonderful people that worked hard to put that game right in front of you. And this could be a game that you had never seen before, something you grew up with. Thank you, publishers, developers, for bringing your game. Members of our production with cameras,
Oh yeah, when he goes like members of our production staff, I went like, yes, guys. Sometimes
who
that's
run those
us.
cables.
He's
Make
talking
sure
about
all those
us.
things work good. Run it around with cameras. You
Just fun
can't see
to.
them, they can
Oh.
see you.
We're doing a fighting game show. Have some
All
fun.
those people, in-house commentary, all that talent in the booth. Folks, they're bringing that show. Give them a round of applause. Excellent show, team. Excellent. And you want to know
A little cryo-pop from Thomas to show that we're listening.
hard to bring that who are catching you.
Now there's one
Look, give some good luck.
thing here.
We do a little bit of this tournament stuff, don't we? The effort to put this all on takes a. Don't make this tournament a reality for.
Let's see if I can find it.
It doesn't matter if you drown in pools. Who was in the show? Right here. Pieces going. And folks, I get asked so often, what makes this event? People who are. Folks, people ask me, who is your favorite team? Because teams, give these folks a hand and have
Oh, is this it?
The EVO staff did a bang up job. Folks, please.
No. Let's see if I can find it.
And the last thank you I've got is this. A lot of people come out for the first time. If this is your first EVO, please stand up.
Wait, did I miss it?
Love.
The last? Oh, well.
And we hope we will see you again. We do this all for you folks. Give our first timers a little bit of a hand.
Yeah, so this is a good example of where I wish I had taken a crowd shot here. But you can kind of like see some people doing stuff in the bottom, I guess.
Thank you all. Standing in a ballroom 20 years ago, thank you for letting us be a part of your journey. And please enjoy.
All right, hold
A
on.
lot of people come out for the first time.
Where is it?
Execution, planning, making things. The EVO staff, long.
Is this before
One of
that?
our TOs. You have some good luck. Thank you for tuning in. The
Oh, okay, here it
you
is.
are one of those watching. They work hard to bring that event here. But you know somebody else who they bring this to? You folks.
This right here is incredible because we didn't tell him where the camera was. This camera is like 150 meters away from him, and he found it and pointed directly into its lens, not slightly to the left, not slightly to the right or above or below. He pointed right at the lens of a camera on the opposite side of an arena, and it's very dark, so you can't see it. There's like no lights on it that like show that this is it.
Friends, your training partners, maybe you are at one of those watch parties around the world. Well, we can't see you right now. We can feel you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. The fans at home, this doesn't exist without you as well. Everybody here, if we could show some love.
So that's that. Then we have the Street Fighter 6 moment. Oh wait, no, this is just the intro. What? Oh, hold on. Oh, I didn't have line open. My bad. What? Oh. Okay. Yeah, it could be down. Yeah, one sec. As soon as it loads.
EVO 2022. Absolutely not. EVO 2022. It's been 3 long years since we got to be in a room like this to celebrate fighting games. So are you ready for a 3-year-long hiatus of some of the best Street Fighter V you are ever going to see? All right, hold on. Before we get started, let's check out this quick intro video of Street Fighter V.
This is another good example of using crowd creep. Big fan. No?
Tuesday.
Middle of the hurricane, nothing changed, you just gotta find another way. World warrior, I never need another name. Top tier, I don't care who made the list, I'ma knock him down another place. Oh God, we popping off, they all get crossed all block. I'm just waiting for the comeback. Run that, hit him with the forward, let the screen flash. We gon' turn this whole damn city into.
I'm actually going to take a quick opportunity to grab some water, so I'll be back in a minute. And then we'll keep going with Street Fighter V player intros, and then Street Fighter Top 8 and Strive. And then we'll be done. But yeah, I'll be back in a minute. One sec. I am back.
Contestant, get him out here. Gachi-kun!
It's right here. It's a good example of needing to make decisions quickly. We were a little late on throwing up the player card graphic here for Gachi-kun. But he was already walking out, and he was like past that trophy pedestal. At that point, it makes more sense to just keep going than it does to try and like go through the motions. Following the player out, a bit more important. Because we also bookend with the player card, so it doesn't matter that like we didn't get all of it.
Daigo, the beast, Umehara!
Zangief's theme is such a banger.
Let's get our next player out. Please, Kawano, take the stage. All right, we gotta welcome the murder face, Tokido.
This one was one of my favorite ones. I think out of every single player that we did a walkout for, Tokido's was the best because we got it right at the beginning because he like did his like big scary walk up. You can see the entire arena full in the back. Get the trophy, get the logo. It just like works real nice. He gets the big wave right on cue almost. He's just stanced up the whole time.
We gotta make this one count. Can Just a Kid please come out here? Just a Kid, get on
Just a Kids 2 was also really good. It was like almost perfect like Taquitos, but it was good, like, you know, and since he was American, the crowd was going with it too.
Let's bring him out here. Oil King. All right, I hope we got some more energy because I need you to make some noise for Mr. Crimson. And our final player to round out EVO 2022, Street Fighter V Top 8. Yeah! All right, one more time, let's hear it. This is your Street Fighter V Top 8. Give it to him.
So yeah, I think the player intros here for Street Fighter went really well. It was,
Let me give this over to our commentators to finish this
except right there, I went to the commentators a bit too early. But luckily David caught it and like just picked it up and like started doing some body language actions.
I am here. I'm Ultra David. I am ecstatic to be back here in person in the real world, sitting next to James, having a blast talking with all of you folks at home. As you can see, there's quite a crowd behind us here at EVO, as I am so excited to see. I hope you guys all heard the Chris Lee speech before that. I just wanted to echo many of the same sentiments that he said about how important community has been over the last few years. That has been a gigantic way that we've gotten through this, and shout outs to everybody who's been partaking in that online community. But here we are in physical person, IRL, in the top 8.
Kind of mad at Chris. He got me teary-eyed already. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle this. I may have to just, bail at some point in time. Unable to speak. But look, we don't just have a top 8 for you here. Former, and of course...
So we go through the bracket. There was some chatter on comms about the preemptive flags. I did realize we didn't actually fully go all the way through because there should have been one for Japan and Koreans. But that is what it is. Now getting into the first match, we have two legends. You know, these guys have played Street Fighter. I mean, you saw on their player card, like, years active, like 25, 30. Like, it was, insane.
He wasn't sure this is something that he could do.
Yes.
This was not something that he was convinced, becoming a second place to the large prize pool, and then was able to buy a home for his wife.
Of course, have experience against each other. I'll tell you that the most recent stuff that I could find was in the Topanga League, and in that, Gachikun versus Daigo, 1-7-4. That was Gachikun who took it in that set. But Daigo has known now for most of the day who he's going to be playing against, and his ability to game plan and think ahead for first rounds like this, just about unparalleled.
Prep time Daigo.
That prep time Daigo. Now, it's not full-time prep time Daigo. That's something we talk about when it's like, a week or two in advance. That's not the case here, but nevertheless.
So it's the first match again, starting slow, being pensive, but also, Daigo hasn't been in the top 8.
Got third in that Topanga championship. Daigo got 6th. Pretty good.
Yeah, Daigo hasn't been in the top 8 for a while. This shot I really liked. We get the fist bump. We can see how much being in top 8 means to them. They're really, like, thinking through, You can see Gachikun takes a big deep breath. They're both looking down, trying to just like calm themselves, steel themselves for it. And we just have a slow pull out on this. And then we get in the game.
Everything changed, and here we go. The first match is underway. EVO top 8.
Really important to have seen even at the beginning that Gachikun was willing to jump in and set the stage.
This Street Fighter top 8 was honestly incredible. Definitely one of my favorite ones I've ever done.
He put a little stutter in there. Gachikun did not take the bait.
Watch out for the critical art. The shimmy to finish off the round. Daigo getting the throw, and you know, obviously, if you're rooting for America,
but also it's halfway through the day. You know, everyone's getting a little tired. It's been 8 hours and 20 minutes plus 2.5 hours of people showing up for call time because we did like rehearsals and stuff in the morning. So, you know, gonna take it easy. Not pushing everyone super hard here.
Again with the jump, empty as you could see. Jumps in yet again, this time with the round. Here's Gachikun in the corner.
And smart for Gachikun to use that V shift, V break. We didn't have that last time when we were here at EVO. And so that's a new mechanic for people who aren't familiar with it. But Rashid's V break, very good range, so able to help fight against the sonic boom pressure.
It was kind of surprising because I hadn't done anything for Street Fighter V since Capcom Cup 2019. That was like the last interaction I had with Street Fighter V that was like a real one. But it didn't feel super different. Like there was a couple of new mechanics that had come out with Champion Edition, but like it didn't take me very long to pick them up and learn them. And they didn't like affect round ends either. Like it was always like middle of round stuff, so it didn't matter too much for me.
Gachikun with his eyes open. He's got the corner yet again. Guile hiding out in the cave. Made his way out. It was coming up. And he knew it! He had just actually, by hitting Daigo, given him that EX.
With older players like this, generally people are like, oh, well actually, hold on, I'll talk about that in a second. But this is an example of getting owned where, you know, there's people clapping, but the crowd was popping off and I was just a little too late, or they sounded like they were popping off much more than they actually were. And then I ended up with, you know, a kind of empty shot. And that does happen. Like, you can't always win. The crowd can only be... Like, you can't control them. They're going to do what they want. So.
It's just so hard to fight against. He's so good at making the adjustments himself.
Look, he's been last. Gachikun just did not expect the double resources spent so fast.
I mean, is there... Like, Daigo is known for being very stoic and very hard to read. But he actually looks nervous to me.
Yeah, so, you know, we hear James Chen talk about it as we come back into the round, but, like, you know, you can see this means a lot to Daigo. He hasn't been in a top 8 for Street Fighter in a very long time, and he does actually look nervous. He's, like, taking these deep breaths. It's not quite what we're used to from Daigo in the past, so I was trying to really, like, pull that out of him. Which is difficult because, again, you know, people are wearing a mask. You can't see their mouth or their nose. But, you know, you can still see it in their eyes. You can see it in the way that their, like, cheeks wrinkle and the way that their brow is. So it's a lot harder to direct without mask on, for sure. Or with mask on. But, like, right there, Gachikun, quick breath, you know? Trying to pay attention to that sort of body language and stuff. It's like the stuff that I'm really trying to hone in on while doing the show. Also, now that we're in Street Fighter, it's like all best of 5, so the matches go a bit, because the games go quicker, but the matches are a bit longer.
Paying attention at home to that 1/3 screen range between these two, and Rashid jumping over it, both of them walking in and out of it, each of them trying to hit each other at that spot. Yeah, that back fist covers some of it. Here, he's
that round right there. Of course, you know, shimmying, basically you trick someone into thinking you're going to throw them. They try to tech, causes you to whiff your throw, and you punish it right afterwards.
First time Daigo's been on the side in a long time. It has almost all been him getting cornered and, yes, fighting out sometimes, but he's been stuck in the corner a lot.
Oh, no, just a little too close. That V reversal put him a little too far away for that.
Brush got a big combo, got space for himself.
From Gachikun, and guess what? You're in the corner with punish from Daigo.
Magic pixel situation. The standing, the crouching jab does it.
After the jump, getting Gachikun Gachikun to finally whip the throw.
And like now the arena's like full. Like Street Fighter V was the most full the arena was, which makes sense. It's, you know, the longest standing franchise. People like know how it's supposed to work. It's easy to pick up.
Oh, suddenly Gachikun with the sweep. Sets up attack. Here he is yet again. Back in the corner. Hanging out with his buddies, the dancers.
By sweeping the Sonic, the sun. Gachikun.
Got the Red Bull sips on stream.
Here now.
It's an important one.
2-1 over Daigo. Is Daigo going to go immediately to the losers bracket here at the start of top 8? Obviously, you don't want to go to that losers bracket.
No.
It is go approach. And if you
Match point versus
convince the opponent that you're getting hit by it all the time, then you bait it out and then you punish it.
And then you go up to match point versus Daigo, right? We all get that, right?
But it's Gachikun, and like I said, former Capcom Cup champion, he's so strong. And again, one of the masters of Rashid, and he's one round away from sending Daigo to losers bracket. Punish. That's not enough to kill, but it's just one more mix-up. The trade.
It's a quick hit.
Gachikun will take it 3-1 over Daigo Umehara and move on in the winner's bracket.
Gachikun with the W, as we said, like he had done in Topanga. Moving forward. And, you know, as I was saying, I was really impressed. Same when I've seen him in the past. And his style versus a Guile versus anybody who'd like to control the stage with projectiles, he can, not just with the character, but with his own timings, really do a great job of denying that control. You talked about some of his techniques for sure.
Follower winner
V-skill's a
out,
big part of
but
it.
get owned by the
V-shifts
trust.
into V-break is a big part of it, but
And it was so unique that I had to like still using Urian, so I commentated one of his
Oh, this one I'm gonna skip forward a bunch because Taquito had a bunch of issues, so we were just kind of like, well, actually, I guess that's probably one of the better ones to talk about. So we have Taquito versus Kawano now.
Kawano's already taken out Gentleman Thief, Yanoob, Dankadias, Smug, and Kudo.
Dang. But I mean, it's interesting.
Wait, did all of that happen off cam?
The interesting thing about it, Tokido's been playing Urian that I saw in most of the pool matches. Evolution, and he won Capcom versus S.
So this is an example. Okay, there we go.
You know,
This is an example where I was a little too impatient. The players were on stage, but they had the chair was messed up or something. It was like put on, or he like broke it, so like you couldn't recline and then bring it back up anymore. It just only was stuck down, so we had to just replace it.
Was one of the first.
So this is an example where, you know, it's a little tough. You know, you're stuck. There's not that much that you can do. So using graphics to fill time is an easy one.
That's true, and part of it is that in the Japan Open qualifiers, Kawano won 3-2 not too long ago. Another part of it is that in the CPT Japan 4 back in 2021.
Excuse me. Come back to
That
commentators.
season anyway. Kawano also won 3-2, 3-1 in Grands. Who has been decade at this point? He's 41. Gachikun as
No
well.
problem. Thanks for coming, man.
So
Hope you enjoyed it.
Fifth at, whereas moments.
Have a good one.
Street Fighter
was at the very first official beginning.
Yep. In that's going on for.
But yeah, we're just kind of like on commentators trying to fill. Luckily, Ultra David's the kind of guy that he can fill for as long as we need to. He's got tons of stats. We throw to a quick break, come back, the chairs are fixed. And now we're trying to stay like wider, get as much of the crowd in behind them as possible. Go on those beginning shots.
But I mean, it's interesting because, you know, obviously one of the core discussions, the core storylines of Street Fighter V is the fact that Luke is considered the best character in this game, and a lot of players, including Chris CCH, who we talked about.
Matchup.
The ads overload space in Street Fighter V are a little annoying because it used to look really nice going through the load screen, but now you just have an ad and it like hard cuts to the intros.
Going in with our second match here at EVO 2022 for Street Fighter V Top 8.
Oh, and a jump in right away for Kawano to start some damage. And it's been interesting because Aya's Luke and damage output as well. But Kawano's been playing Colleen for a while, and though she did get, you know, slightly nerfed in the definitive patch earlier.
All of a sudden, he had been backing off so often, I think Kawano just didn't expect it.
Or which controller?
He's a stickless.
Found out when he started using the hitbox, he was like, man, this makes you. It's gonna give Kawano not quite.
All right.
Isn't gonna let that go.
If he has lost a little bit of that meter, he starts gaining it back.
Actual hitbox sponsor Kawano. Was the whiff though, and Tokido did let it go. Challenge at negative frames. It wasn't actually his turn, but he knew where he was, and he knew he was just outside of Tokido being able to quickly counteract.
Yeah, he figured Tokido was going to try to bust out by walking forward, take advantage of the plus frames by walk. Was old Tokido, but again, no, it's not.
No, oh, so this that was super sick. But to them, obviously, it's just another round. So I was ready to like take a crowd shot because that was pretty sick. But there's, again, you want to pace it out, make sure that you're not overdoing it. You can get it there because like now the moment's passed. We've given the players a beat.
The big back stretch for both of these guys. Little unsettling there.
Yeah, but obviously for Tokido, you know.
All right, I'm gonna start skipping forward a bit because otherwise it's gonna take a while. All right, so Just a Kid versus Oil King. This is a good one where you've got home turf people.
Unveiled, but he is going up against, again, we've been talking about Kawano as one of the up-and-coming youth in Japan. In the U.S., right now, I think there are two main names in terms of the up-and-coming youth. Chris CCH and Just a Kid. Guess who had to fight each other to make it into this top 8?
Yeah.
Chris CCH and Just a Kid, as you mentioned earlier. But this is definitely I still remember the first Frosty Faustings I went to.
Yeah.
There was a kid that people were telling me to look out for. Yeah. He's really, really, really good. He went by the handle.
And this is an example of, again, matching video to audio here. The commentators are talking about Just a Kid. I want to like focus on that as much as possible.
I mean, at this point, maybe he needs to change his name to just the top 8 finalist. You know?
He has actually tried to move away from Just a Kid a couple times. No success so far. This is a guy who 4 years ago came up to James and to me, and he was like, "Guys, I'm a big fan. First of all, thank you. That's really nice. Oh, wow, that's so great. I grew up watching you commentate fighting games. You grew up watching? Wow. You got the right name out there, buddy." But he has really blossomed, and as you said, one of the best players in the world. So strong. He has already had a lot of success even before his character got the love that she's gotten over the past couple of seasons. And then now he's even more terrifying with Jury. She is a strong character. He got second at Texas Showdown. He got 9th.
Not a lot going on here, so just kind of waiting it out.
To continue that trend.
They did their button check.
King is the one.
Then we get into game.
Ding Chung Chi, one of the best. No meter here, Seth. Stuck in the corner. And Just a Kid's going to find the hit, and he's got the W in this first round. You know who else he had the W over? DCQ. Ding Chung Chi.
For him, it is not
early, but then after this, losers he beat.
So yeah, just taking player cameras. It's still early in the top 8. Want to like reserve our energy for towards the end of it. But Just a Kid being up. Anytime you do a show where there's someone of that country doing well, you know, it's there's a lot more to play off of. The crowd's going to be a lot more reactive because they're your country person. You know, you want to do well. Cheer on your boy.
Lead here in game number 2, but a good start here for Just a Kid. Great damage off of that combo. Confirmed.
Oh, what a jump! Maybe getting the bead now on those V-skill timings.
Gets you with the low kick, but no single hit confirmed.
I think I started doing a bit more flag shots here.
Well, but the confirm into the super off of the Hecatophorus punch once again. And Oil King is now up 2.
And then I make the jump approach even a little bit weirder. Have been really effective.
You know, I want to talk about nerves here. Obviously, Just a Kid very young, first time on this kind of a stage. But this audience has opportunity here, Seth, with that mix-up.
So Just a Kid takes the first round and proceeds to lose a bunch of the rest.
Next hit can definitely still
Kid.
King.
He gets a grab even, so Just a Kid, yeah, needed to get out of there.
Wins that one back,
Needed to get
but
out of there. But again, that was another situation where a lot of control
you can
by
kind of
Just
see
a
it.
Kid.
He's nervous. He's taking deep breaths between rounds. He's trying his best.
Oil King is at match point.
Which is why I was doing a lot of the like sliding door shots, because both players are reacting. Oil Kings, he's like pumped up. Just a Kid, he's nervous. He's trying to keep trying to steel himself for the rest of the match.
Should be able to build the super meter off of this. Definitely
Yep,
going
there's the
to
critical
kill
art,
an
and
Oil
yeah,
King.
hit confirm. Critical art. Time to get out. That's it. Match is over. Music starts. For the LEDs and lights, or the LED walls and the lights, they were waiting for it to actually be done on screen, just to like create the cohesion.
He was dashing in, and Just a Kid, somebody who is usually so consistent, didn't have that ability to shut
So we've
down
got Just a
the
Kid, you
approach
know, one of the
from
American
Oil
heroes
King,
here at
including
home.
at the very end. That said, look, hats off to Just a Kid for getting
Following
up
them
here.
out with a huge
talking
arena
to
in the
crowd.
back.
Great personality too.
But
really
again, you
funny
always
guy.
want to bring it back to who our actual winner is here.
Yeah, again, you know,
Luckily, he also took a lot longer to clean up.
Only gonna grow stronger.
Welcome back to. Players didn't do as well as they could have this weekend because they didn't believe in their character.
Idom
choice. He
versus
said he
Mr.
believes
Crimson.
in Laura.
That's a game. How often has Idom played against Arturo Sanchez?
Exactly, a very strong Dawson out of New York. So yeah, Idom knows this character matchup. Question is,
Like maybe not that close anymore.
Oh, good.
Okay, here we go. Opportunity, but the throw from Idom. It is a. Oh, the crush. Oh my, that killed.
sure did. Idom said, "I'm already the EVO champion."
I mean, you can call it this. Back-to-back top 8 competitor at EVO. This fires. What is happening over here? Oh no, that's a bad.
I know we're on the Christmas stage, but you don't gotta give each other gifts like that. Finally, Crimson with the round.
Oh man, yeah, you gotta stay in the present.
That one I was just distracted, I imagine. Let's
Actually,
see.
main kill.
So we've got a fast round here, tight exchange.
Ends up doing it after all.
And then I'm owned by autofocus.
Again, has just
Unfortunately.
catapulted himself up into the top of basically the highest point, highest echelon of the players, where he is round number 1 in game 3.
Both of them displaying that they have, like I said, a great comeback ability.
Nope, no meaty elbow, just goes for the dash forward. Try. No back going up. 2. Wow. What the?
Still here?
The shimmy, death, and a Idom going up 2-1 over Mr. Crimson.
Yeah, they both can make it.
But yeah, even same thing here in terms of depth of field. So yeah, American player doing well on home turf, show the flag, create strong depth of field, so that way the crowd is just an accessory.
Into the.
I know we got Sumo.
See.
Oh my God, what is he looking for?
What is he trying to do here? That could not have been what he wanted, and that's gonna
Super
cost him
misses.
the round,
Get the handshake.
the game, the set, and Idom defeating
And we're just gonna
Mr.
follow Idom out.
3-1.
Get all the crowd in the arena in behind them now that the game's over.
It did.
I did?
it
Oh,
did.
okay.
Yeah, I saw so many jump-ins from Idom that connected over things like stand roundhouse. As Dawson, you really want to control the space, of course. So you press stand roundhouse, you press medium kick, you press stand medium punch. All these tools you got at this far range. Stand fierce, which
And it's
also
kind of
connects-
setting the stage, you know. We've got our American hero doing well. Taquito losing Oil King. Or did he beat Oil King? I think he beat Oil King.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm curious why not the poison.
Daigo versus Idom is an important one.
For the EX Sonic Boom.
Because Idom's never beat Daigo before, or at least not that I could remember.
For the throw. And then try to.
And Daigo wins the first game.
And
but Idom starts doing crazy thunderclap setups.
Trying to confirm that crouching quick right.
Plus, that felt so plus. How many active frames does that move have? The crazy
Daigo is
thing
no
that
longer
I feel
as
like
nervous,
Daigo is
so I'm not showing him as much.
Seals the deal.
But then that starts to falter towards the end of game
From Daigo. We were
3
talking
here.
up his defense. And
Because
just
during
like
game
that,
1 and
it's
2,
his
he was like
offense that really
stone cold, but here now he's like,
See, I mean, what am I telling you? It feels like
he's like,
Daigo
okay,
is showing more
I'm making
emotion
sure I'm good.
in his top eight.
I gotta tell you, I think
You're absolutely right. And corner pressure. Here's the shimmy, and Idom brings it 1-1 here in the ever so important game number 3.
that offense that Daigo had in round number 1, I feel like is going to be so important as this goes on, because the more it goes on,
So something else that I try to do, so it's just one of those subtle things, but I'm trying to dissolve in at the same time that the fight animation happens, because then I can kind of use the in-game stinger as like my transition stinger. And it looks nice when I can do it, and it doesn't look bad when I mess it up. And this is where audio cues starts making a huge difference, because it's way easier to do that off of audio than it is to do it off of visual.
I don't think he meant to do back-to-back
When I was doing EVO, I had like
I think it was with Stanley
literally a listen for the game, so I can hear just the game audio. So I like turn that way up so that I can get these transitions like into and out of game as spot on as I could. Let's see.
Go look at Daigo with the pressure, the opportunity. Look at all those resources on Idom's side. He can't, gotta be.
I got a pixel of life.
Oh, watch out.
To tie up the game, he gets the grab.
He hasn't used that all day, and he ties it up 2-2.
People are popping off. America's doing it. So I'm showing the flag, letting it linger, come back to the players though. And we get towards the end here. Tied up last round, last game. Idom takes it.
Idom is going to move forward, and Daigo has been eliminated from the
Crowd is popping off because USA, USA, USA. And then
on their heads. Can't believe what they just saw. But that right there is one for the books right there. You can't get better Street Fighter than that between Idom and Daigo. What a match.
The man who is so difficult to guess what he's going to do next, that we literally call a special move that somebody does at a random time that's unexpected, the Ume Shoryu. We literally have called it that for decades. He has had a reputation as being so difficult to get a read on. And there was Idom again and again. Command grabs, yes. Constantly making it work as the set went on and on. Not just command grabs.
alright, we're gonna push forward again here. Winner's final was nothing special from like a directing standpoint. About the same. Hit a break. I'm coming to Takedo Idom. And this is a lot of the same thing that we had during Idom Daigo. American hero, trying to do his best, defeating one of his demons.
Usually it happens in the sense that you feel down on.
Creating a lot of energy now as we're getting towards the end here. Same thing versus Gachikun.
So Idom in the danger of stun. Here comes Gachikun.
You senses it.
The audience is screaming right now. I love the V-break idea. There we go. Gachikun shutting it down this time. Gachikun
And the arena is very full now, so we can just go fully wide on that camera.
When that throw happened. Oh man.
Oh man.
And that one is one of the ones where they're not. Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell, but they're like surprised, you know. You can see that guy at the bottom like freaking out, being like, "Whoa, what's going on?" Because it was a crazy round end.
The audience is screaming right now. I love the V-break idea. There we go. Gachikun.
So yeah, that the purpose of that was not for pop off, but to show like, wow, that was a crazy round.
Into the corner. He only needs one more round to have gone.
That's all he needs. Round.
Yes.
And he should be able to build up enough meter for the critical art here.
Iom's going to lose
That
game
is the
3.
caliber of player
Oh, yeah.
that Gatsukun is coming in time.
And he needs more.
Activation to give himself plenty of time to react.
One more
And
round
it
here to
doesn't
go.
matter if you change your jump arc anymore. Good trade, good trade. Whole spinning mixer to get
That is when.
John plus frames.
Hey, look, man, I'm thinking back to the Daigo set that Idom had, where when that up.
Okay, you're not gonna quite have.
He might get super on this.
Actually,
He might get
doesn't
super.
even need it. I don't even know if he needs it.
He might get super. No. Oh, he didn't even need the super. He needed but one EX to do the whole trick, to do half of that entire life bar.
And Idom here
There you go. Idom has
is
taken
just
out
like
an
relaxing
incredible list of
finally. Has a
players.
tense moment.
Mr.
Crowd going
Crimson,
crazy
many
because it's
people's choice to win EVO.
USA.
Daigo Umehara, many people's choice to win EVO. Tokino, many people's choice to win EVO. And then Gachikun, many people's choice to win EVO. Idom, many people's choice to win EVO, has in fact made it into Grand.
We got a replay, and then we're going to be going into grands.
See in the grand finals again. Even
Take a
though
look
there's
at the
only
bracket before we get
3-1.
there, create some context for anyone just hopping in, as we are now on hour 11 of the show. And around here is where it was getting a bit difficult. I was trying to crack some jokes, you know, be a bit more positive. There's a lot of just sponsor stuff in the way. There's a lot
And we're going to get to it right after this.
of, you know, just tired occurring.
Without that reversal to get out of the corner. So I like when you're big rings and horror.
And
Psycho snatcher.
let's see.
Oh my god.
So we're on this ad break. We come back.
Yes, it did in fact.
We get into grands, and they're working their way through it.
Idom officially has the lead here in grand finals. Nice backdash from Kawano. But like I said, all the damage to Laura just seems to be.
I think the only part of Street Fighter Grands that actually mattered was the very end of it here.
It might be his downfall. Here we go, activation.
The party starts. She's here to party, James.
Okay, again the V shift.
Oh
my god.
And party she does. In here, it was too early, saved by it.
Oh, but the cross counter, but he didn't combo off of it. He missed the confirm. She still has some V trigger left.
The life almost even here with 38 left on the clock. Scheming towards the corner. Thunderclap yet again.
No, too far away for the anti-air. The crush counter from Kawano. He gets the hit. Activation.
And yeah, it was like crazy mix-up to finish the game. And Idom's pissed.
In the most clutch victory you could possibly imagine. Just shy of
And normally, looking at the losers, like a little rough, but because Idom's the hometown hero here, we can see the crowd being a little polarized between wanting Kawano to win and wanting Idom to win. Kawano super happy, get that, but like the story of this top 8 was not necessarily Kawano winning, it was Idom almost winning. So we're gonna give him his moment.
In this set to take it. What fortitude by this young man. Talk about the next generation of high-level.
Gonna show these reverse shots to like make him feel grander than life.
Has made it happen, and he takes EVO.
And give a little bit of the representation of like what it's like to be up there, but then yeah, the story is Idom almost winning, so we come back to him.
He has not yet gotten up, James. He's still in the chair.
What a run by Idom, and if you're Idom, you feel like that kind of run in loser's bracket means you can't possibly lose. Like it is manifest destiny.
But then always bring it back to the winner at the end here.
Just shy by a tiny bit of life. Kawano stopping the freight train. That is.
And then we get into awards ceremony.
Here's their awards.
All right, guys, all right, hold on. Before we actually get into the award ceremony, just a few quick things about Street Fighter V in general. You know, we lost a few years. These players lost a few years of being able to compete on this very stage in this game. So please, this could potentially be maybe the last top 8 Street Fighter V we may see in EVO. So I would need you guys to do me a huge favor. Everybody get up. Let's give these gentlemen a round of applause for the game that they play and the heart.
I should have followed the crowd here. Oh, never mind. I was just late on it. But not terrible. Better late than never. We go through award ceremony. That's about the same.
And also in 5th place,
His medal is backwards.
the Beast, Umehara-san. Fourth place, Tokido.
Probably could have been a bit tighter there, but
Give it up,
not terrible. Then we move into our top 3. Drop the hat, bro. You can't drop the hat. So we're doing these big shots of the arena. Now that Street Fighter's ending. Just to be like, look at how big this place is.
I said in 2nd place.
Same thing here, crowd creep. Your boy almost did it. I didn't know someone howled into the crowd mic. That's hilarious.
Let's go. Give it up. Yeah. Yes.
Same thing here. Crowd creeping. Just showing how many freaking people there are. We got our winner. And he's gonna get his trophy.
Hold it up. Yes. All right, everybody in the crowd, please. I need this one to be extremely loud. Make them hear us in the casino outside. Your 2022 Street Fighter V Top 8.
And same thing here, follow through the crowd. Make you feel like you're there. But eventually he went too far, so had to switch to another op.
And that was crazy. Guys.
And I really liked how we're just like sitting on the end of the stage. It like makes you feel like, you know, it's over. We're done.
There might be some people that want to. Thank you. So let me bring them out. Please, can I get the 2 of the 4 commentary voices for Street Fighter 6 to come to the stage? Vicious and Aru.
One of my other favorite shots is coming up here. But this again is shooting from the stage out into the crowd to make it show it's full, it's big, and like how crazy this whole thing is. Lots of crowd reactions.
The community even more. Let me hear off.
Yes, I know.
And this was a rehearsed shot with me and the camera operator. But we knew that this light existed on the right here. So for big reveals, we figured at some point we'll get some nice lens flare off of it. And then it just happened to work out that Thomas, our lighting designer, hit the blackout button at the right time with some sick energy, literally throwing it out, and the light goes away. And then we go into the video. And it worked pretty well. That's the it of Street Fighter V. We have our rollout. And at this point, we are now 12 hours in, far over and above a regular workday. I'm probably going to speed run through Strive because, much like the real day, I was getting pretty tired. And I am currently, if I can find part 2, anyways. Main stage. What? Where the hell did it go? Uploads? Did they remove it? No, day 3, part 2. There we go.
Amazing games.
So we cut the encode.
And now
We had a camera relief
we are
hop in
at
here,
our
so that's why
final
this opening
game
shot was a little different.
for the night, for
Went
the
a lot
event.
faster than I would have hoped, but that's
With
okay. We're going to be getting into the lore music video, then Daisuke-sama comes out, and we accidentally play the top 8 intro video for like 10 seconds, but then we get into the Bridget reveal. Then we get into the actual top 8.
Your Guilty Gear Strive Top 8! Daru Ino!
We were late on the player card, late on the music, but that's okay. We're all very tired. It's been 13 hours of show, 15 hours of work. We got his flag wrong, but that's because that's how he had his flag on Smash GG, so it's not really our fault. Leffen trips on the way up. Lamau. And I think part of the unfortunate nature of how long the show went on for was that the last game of the day, Guilty Gear Strive, I don't think was our strongest. I think Street Fighter V was definitely our strongest. We also had a very strong storyline to work off of as well, of IDOM almost winning. Plus, like, Legends trying to make their last hurrah in the game. The player intros here were like, I mean, they were good. There's nothing to complain, but there was also a lot less crowd excitement because of the fact that it was like 10 p.m. at night and everyone was dying. Peppery Splash coming out. We popped off in the back because a bunch of Canadians wanted to cheer for our sole Canadian all day. But also, the anime crowd is just generally far more tempered than everyone else. Like Street Fighter, everyone's popping off. The Guilty Gear, it's, anime nerds. They're a bit more reserved. So there's just a lot less energy in these player intros. And I'm not really sure a good way of solving that. Hotashi coming out did help, though, because this dude, he, Oh, the live ND filter, actually, was something that I was about to get really mad about on camera. But I think it actually looked really cool, so I didn't care. because like it's one of those things where you do a physical effect. I only wish that we had incorporated it more, almost, of switching the ND filter physically live, because it provided a cool effect.
What's up, everybody? Strives. Just see.
You can go to our commentators, tag them, go to the bracket.
Incredible matchup. So the turn, different country. Japan, maybe EVO next year. You can slide through.
There's a lot of Americans, and we go through it. I think, honestly, like, most of Strive was pretty run-of-the-mill. Leffen doing pretty well was a good storyline. Slash was doing crazy well, coming from, like, a far less represented country in fighting games.
It's a lot about Leffen being able to.
We had the survey lower third to start doing to win a PS5. That doing lower thirds, generally want to do it over something like nice looking, something full and bright, just because it'll be more eye-catching that way, and it'll be nicer to, like, add into a sponsor reel or something afterwards.
Terrifying, yeah. I mean,
had a lot more of the front of house camera pushing into the LED wall. Everyone was doing their intros, which was a little annoying, having been awake for so long.
Get out of that pressure. No bullets. Got to reload the gun. And if you notice, entered Guilty Gear Exert this year at EVO. Won Guilty Gear Exert. Entered Guilty Gear Plus R this EVO. Second place to none other than Elvin Shadow, who won Guilty Gear Plus R. So obviously very good at every single Guilty Gear game, right? So this is somebody who's a legacy player and very familiar at being, and also incredibly good. These two are just so good at their characters.
Yeah, I want to see what Chip brings to the table. I know, once again, like you said, a lot
sometimes
of
that happens.
Now, like, how do you stop this character? I feel like that
yeah, players just don't update their info on their profiles ever. And then we get yelled at for having it wrong, even though it's like the player literally had their own information wrong. We did end up fixing Daruino's flag for the rest of it.
Pep has tightened up the pressure, right? Really keeping it tight so that, and then finally there was a gap. Bean was ready, but he kept the pressure tight because Bean was challenging right there and was ready. And I like that adjustment, big counter hit, and there's the burst.
Strive was actually a really funny game because since it's such a like rock themed game, there's actually like a lot of sound between 0 to 200 hertz that you can't hear on a consumer audio setup. So the reason that these player cameras are jumping so much is because the bass in the arena was intense. Like anytime anything happened, especially when Happy Chaos had any vortexes come up, it was just boom, like all through the bowl, even into the backstage area. And it was really cool because most people don't often hear it like that. But it made the player cameras shake quite a bit, which was unfortunate.
Character, and Happy Chaos kind of gets to do the full screen shooting, and then you're just stuck way away. You can't
button
summon Eddie,
check.
you got to get in there. It's tough, but at the same time, Leffen did take out Lost Ult and make it here to this top 8. That was a big deal.
For Slash, I tried to play off a lot of the country stuff. Same with Leffen, because Sweden and Saudi Arabia were the only ones that. These are the only two that we had all day. Actually, where is Hotashi versus? Yeah, okay.
Hotashi is down.
Hotashi versus Slash was interesting because there was a dude heckling from the crowd with his Saudi Arabia flag.
Loving Nagoriyuki, and what a showing, man. What a path. Even to get to EVO, you gotta make some noise for Hotashi. And on top of that,
and Hotashi was pissed and just got up and like walked over.
And they reside stateside.
Yeah, exactly. Extremely well.
We've got the guy with the Saudi Arabia flag who turned out to be the heckler, and I didn't know that because we had actually asked him to like get up and start doing the flag because we missed it on camera on time.
Hotashi goes out to speak to Latif, holding up the flag right now in the crowd, but that means nothing. Slash versus Leffen
we're following Slash because watching Hotashi argue with Latif would not be a great idea.
Grand finals from the US of A. We have Leffen and Slash from
And
Sweden.
then
And
losers
Saudi
finals, you know, we can
Arabia
kind of just like
representing
follow
our
them up.
losers finals. You gotta love to see it.
Willing to hold this down back.
But a lot of the same philosophies from the last 2 games, like as we get towards the ends of the bracket, more trophy shots, more high energy camera shots, as high energy as we can make them at midnight.
Having to guess a few more mixes, but he escapes actually. Slash with the knowledge.
5G right there, no meter to make.
Trying to use character imagery throughout the show between rounds to be like, you know, this is the guy that just won, or girl, or them, or whatever.
Something we need to talk about too. Those 5Ds never really finding their mark. Always playing this range to where a follow-up from even little Eddie sometimes is going to whip and ready to punish and kill and start their own offense.
Yeah, even love right there, we saw a pose and he just dash blocked into it. He's like, okay, this is going to take a while to activate. I can just put it in.
Defense on the 5 is on the table so far for Slash. Long as there's no faultless defense. None yet, but oh man, Leffen really trying to find a way. And look at this, once again, the defense on the 5D, but finds the 2K to close out Leffen.
Yeah, that was so rough. I mean, even still, Slash blocked for so long right there.
The timer was wrong at the beginning for a couple matches, but thankfully it didn't matter. All the players even said like it didn't matter. We didn't even get close. Like I think the closest thing we had to a timeout on the wrong timer was 20 seconds away, but like that's so much time in Strive. So yeah, you know, Slash, he's like tying it up, shoot the flag, shoot him.
There's a command grab though. This is a time for Leffen to get going. Out of the there, so that's that kill. Slash moving on into
And then crowd creep through the flag of Slash winning, going to Grands.
Staying alive, Slash. Coming here with all the Zato experience. And this is exactly what I was talking about. The path to get to grand final.
Making it feel better, bro. 60%. It'll be great.
Grand Finals was a bit of a wash. We were dying. I was just ready for it to be done, I think. I was trying to keep everyone pepped up and like positive, but man, it was like 30 minutes after midnight. We were done.
That's a big confirm in the burst off the table.
U.S. flags, Saudi Arabia flag shots, you know.
That's unfortunate though, a drop from Umisho.
Almost out of bullets, but gets the staggered combo, and you're going through the glass.
One of the few times I was glad that Happy Chaos was on screen.
Not enough. Round away as Umi.
Yeah, you know.
But the zoning concentration here.
Round ends. Shot of the players, shot of the trophy, because this is what they're playing for. And then we go in the game. I think, yeah, Umisho wins this.
Umisho's pressure is so tight. Has the curse on now too. BRC catches the back dash, baits the burst.
Roman cancel doesn't matter. Hit confirm.
EVO champion Umisho.
The gun to get the one. The championship of EVO 2022.
Champion graph broke, so we reran it. Was unfortunate.
With extreme prejudice, Happy Chaos looking good as ever, and we've seen a bevy of different characters here. We've seen a couple of Happy Chaos, quite a few Zatos, but it's gonna be Umisho.
Umisho had the most energy in that entire building for 1 in the morning.
When they make every choice the right choice, it's so hard against somebody like this, right, where the defense is so good, the pressure is
What's up, IU?
really well crafted out.
I am unfortunately almost done, or I suppose fortunately, as I am also still very tired from EVO. Umisho was nice because of the fact that Razzo was there. Like, we actually got to show the emotion and like connections between the player that won and their loved ones, and that's one that like we don't often get to do. So it was nice that Razzo was right there. Thanks so much. I feel the same. I was quite proud of this show overall. There was a lot of stuff that I still wanted to do more of. There was a lot of things that we need to fix for next year, but I think overall it looked really good. And we go into the award ceremony. Honestly, I was just impressed with the fact that we did so well on Guilty Gear Strive. Like, there was very few mechanical mistakes during Strive, and it was 1 in the morning after, like, literally hour 19 we were on.
So many great announcements, and we couldn't do it without our general manager, Rick, who will now come on stage to give you some final remarks.
And now we're hitting the end of the show.
Hey, everybody.
We've got Rick coming on with a mic.
Staying up really hella late for Guilty Gear. There's no fine speech tonight. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for sharing this entire day with us. Thank you for making EVO what EVO is supposed
Same thing again here, trying to use that, play off that light in the back. Get some lens flare, get the prism going.
Give it up for Top 8 one more time. Now go home and go to bed so I can sleep.
And it was an abrupt throw. But, so I was a little lost because it was very late at night, and I had no idea what to do. But, that was it.
What's going on? Good morning,
Nice.
good afternoon from all across the world, across the globe. We are here. Las
But,
Vegas.
that was EVO. The arena show, anyways. Play the rollout. Hit the credits. And I actually had no idea what was in this rollout at all. So when this started playing, I was like, had a nice sigh of relief. Because I was like, good, we are honoring tradition. That's good to know. And I, of course, played the little stream monster. I think everyone on comms was playing along to the video. And that was it. That was the EVO Arena show. I should have dipped out a bit sooner, but I didn't realize it was going to be that abrupt of a cut. I was really proud of this show. Hopefully get a chance to do it again next year and figure out. I think one of my biggest issues as a director for a very long time was stamina management of everyone, but I think I did like as good of a job as I possibly could have for a show like this because of the fact that it was extremely long. So that's it for me. Thanks all to whoever watched. Hope you learned a lot. I know I caught some things that I didn't catch the first time. Yeah. On to the next one. I mean, NRS MK being 3 out of 5 didn't actually cause any issues, hilariously. At least not this year. Peace out, everybody.